Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 2 of VESL Thursday Night Lights. I'm still Steptolin's, joined once again by the talented, handsome, and did I say talented and handsome, Hail Monkey Man himself. Hail Monkey Man, we are jumping right back into a week that feels somewhat familiar as we enter week 2, but the third one we've seen, including that week 0 preseason. So going into this evening tonight, we are going to be seeing this 3 same games we know and love, but also something new presented on the board as well, which is very exciting.
I would start drumming my desk, but I feel like that would mess up like literally every electronic that I have. But definitely so, as we're getting into that big STEM portion. All of you out there that love VESL know why. And it's going to be because you can be able to compete at several different levels and not just at the esport kind. But of course, I'm glad to be back with you, Steptolins. Feels like we got a lot of awesome competition coming into this today.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we're going to be seeing a lot of that VESL action, of that Valorant, of that Marvel Rivals, of that Brawlhalla as well. But we are getting to watch a little bit of something new that Time to Light and I referenced last week, of those drone rivalries that are happening here in VESL as well. Because while we have the esports that we all know and love, there's also a lot more going on here at VESL with that communication and that connection to STEM. And I think the drone rivalries is a great example early on of coding and performance and real world applicability of these talents and these skills that they're learning. I think it's a very cool experience to see these coding skills or these tech skills or things of that nature going into what is very easily tied into real world jobs and real world positions. And it's a cool quality because you hear STEM, and I think a lot of us have a base mindset of what that means, but VESL continues to go above and beyond and show STEM can be a lot more than that a traditional expectation.
There's so many different ways that STEM has really expanded. Heck, we've seen STEM plus M where the medical side is also included. But looking at what we've got this week going into those drone rivalries, I mean, I've seen so many different walks of life that could be able to use that from a mechanical sphere. You have it for agriculture. We get to see, and we're going to be talking about all of that and more, to where you can utilize so much extra coding that goes into robots. Look, robots are taking over your life. You're just going to have to deal with that as a factor.
Gotta get used to it.
Yeah, they're going to be here, but they're going to be your friend. You're going to be able to weaponize them in a helpful way, a critical way that makes humanity move forward with big steps. It's directly applicable to what these forthcoming careers could be for all of these awesome students, and also being able to have them be able to embolden and brighten the future for their communities.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, what better way to encourage people to utilize their skills and improve and grow their skills than putting a prize in front of them, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the #1 way to get people riled up to do something, and I think that's a great way because there are very cool prizes to be won in the coin shop. There's an opportunity to qualify for states events through these STEM program events as well, which is very exciting. You and I have seen that in person before. Those qualifications come to those states events, which is a very, very cool And we can sit here and talk about the drone rivalries and STEM a lot, but there is one guy that no matter how much we learn, will always know a little bit more about it. So we're going to throw you guys over to Co for a little bit more information on what the STEM looks like here at VESL.
Hey chat, STEM is back. Hey, I'm Co, and here are the 3 main ways to develop your STEM skills this season. First up are our main pathway challenges. Here, you're going to find the most value with complete STEM courses and project-based challenges in content creation, data analytics, and cybersecurity. Second are our mini challenges located in the VESL Gaming Community Discord. These are fun, fast challenges to get you a little taste of what else we have going on in the season. And finally, we have rivalries. The top performing STEM teams prove why they are the best in the STEM League. They'll first compete with drones for 3 weeks before they compete with robotic cars also for 3 weeks. And it all leads up to the final state championships where we crown the top winning team. Interested? Check this out.
Thank you so much again, Co. And folks, I hope that video gets you excited for drone rivalries because they are happening tonight. I believe 4 matchups. We'll get further confirmation on that as we get closer into the evening. But regardless, drones are cool, have been cool, and continue to be cool, especially as the utility behind them continues to improve and continues to grow, which I think is super sick. I mean, we've gone from this neat little silly thing that you fly around for fun to like helping put out forest fires with drones, which I think is very cool. I think that's insane. And it shows the real world applicability of those drones. I think it's unbelievably cool.
It's amazing. I mean, I've seen so many different different videos about being able to utilize them in different ways. I mean, my cousins actually utilize drones in an agricultural sphere because they use them to be able to keep, critters that should be in their fields off the field. And then they also use them for being able to kind of look at crop rotation and seeing if they may have all their other automated, the front loaders as well as all their equipment just in a good direction, as well as Doctors Beyond Borders that are able to deliver very necessary medical supplies to places that are very rural and desolate and cannot get those in regular means. So you can see that happen, but I mean, it's the rivalries. And first off, Prod, awesome video. I want to go rewatch Star Wars now because of that. So that looks so great. Be able to hit Wampa at what 2 parsecs? I forget all the different distances. But either way, they have to be able to win this game plan or these games today here, Septulence. And I feel like we got to illuminate the game plan. How do you even win with these drones that we're getting to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fascinating circumstance with these drones on the board, and I believe what we're seeing is there's something that's called the drone drop is the game of the week. And I believe that it changes every week. So I think drone drop is today. And the idea is to score the most amount of points landing a drone in a scoring zone. So I think the easiest comparison is think of like shuffleboard, because it is a similar nature of you're not kind of sliding it, but you're moving the drone. I believe you're flying it or coding it to fly to a specific spot to land there. You get X amount of points. And I was informed that while this has been done by the students already, they actually don't know how their performance has fared against the other students who competed. So we're actually going to get live reactions from these students and like see, they get to find out, did we win? Did we come at the bottom of the pyramid? How far up do we have to continue working? I think that's very cool. I think that's a really cool, I think that's a sick way to do that.
That's very cool. I mean, you have an awesome project. You're going to be able to see the end cap of that and be able to progress later on into that STEM competition. And then, you know what? See maybe what didn't work. It's definitely a life cycle process for overall STEM inputs. So everyone's going to be excited about that. I definitely going to be excited about that. In the midst of all of our STEM, we also have some esports that's going to be right around the corner as we have our 3 big competitions right around some big STEM that'll be happening this evening.
This is true. I believe we've got the brackets as well coming up in just a moment here to talk a little bit about who we're going to be seeing, performances that we've been seeing thus far. And this is for the rivalries of
Yes.
drone rivalries, excuse me. So we are going to be seeing these matchups here. A lot of these schools coming in with past experiences. I want to do a lot of detail about that last week. A lot of familiar faces being seen this week, being seen this semester, but students who came from other STEM programs. So it's really exciting. I think it's very interesting to watch the versatility to show A, the value behind STEM and how you can stretch it into multiple job fields like this, but B, to show how clever these students can really be. These are tough things to do. I mean, this is a tough thing to make happen, especially as a high schooler, nonetheless. I mean, this is an insane thing to put on a resume. This is an insane job to get done this early. And a lot of these students looking for a slot at states, we've got a lot of schools on the board trying to make that happen.
That's very true, and we always know that the big regionals moving into the states is for all these competitions. Everyone takes it seriously. Everyone gets hyped, and the energy just flows in the right direction to the very, very top. And even if you end up not being at the very end of the kind of the run, it's the fact that they're able to grab so much experience along the way. You talked about adding that to the resume. So many different higher institutions of education want to see that you have this kind of want to find these moments. That will help separate you from the field, so that you can join other like-minded people to do exactly this in that job market. It may be about the ones and zeros and the numbers behind, maybe a paycheck as well, but that's also finding something that you want to do whenever you find your ultimate career.
Without a doubt. And I really like what you're saying there, because the yearn is just as important as the learn, right? You have to show companies, you have to show colleges and universities, this is something you're interested in, not something you're learning because you feel like you have to. And so with something as specific as the interest of like drones, the umbrella term of drones, that can be a lot of things. You mentioned the agriculture, you mentioned kind of shipping information or supplies to desolate wastelands, or, areas that don't have a lot of like major transportation areas. Like a friend of mine, I swear this is a true story, he used to be a drone flyer for the Cleveland Browns. He then started flying drones in esports, and now he works with a drone company that sends drones into like unmapped cave systems in the United States to try. And like, it's a very weird thing, but it's such a good example of like what that umbrella can mean. Of like, oh yeah, you work with drones, but that can be three incredibly different jobs, and so many more than three too. But in that given example, those three jobs, and honestly, good that he does that, because you could not pay me all the money in the world to set foot in a cave. So I'm glad that he likes his job, so I don't have to do it.
Oh my gosh, that's an amazing anecdotal experience. To go from literally a dying franchise and seeing them from over high 1,000 feet in the air, and then being able to see even the most just uncharted areas on Earth. Yeah, that's very cool. So as we go into this, I can't wait to see what everyone is able to do overall. There was a lot of extra coding. They got actually to do that from their own comfort of home. We'll be talking about even more of that as we go into later portions of that today. So I can't wait to see how that bracket overall goes up. There's a lot of points that are up for grabs. They get 3 tries to be able to see how their shuffleboard antics. If you don't get that tactic, because some of us are not as old, there's also that one kid that would roll the one thing on the table, and they always had to eat a vegetable at the end. Yeah, it exists. Yeah, you can find it.
You'll recognize the game as soon as you see
know.
it. I swear, it's a very familiar concept. But speaking of games, there are a couple other ones outside of our drone event this evening waiting for us. Our first, of course, being Valorant, our traditional best of 1 series. So, Hail Monkey Man, heading into Valorant tonight, what teams are we looking at?
Well, we're going to be going into our first one on the docket. It is going to be Providence Gold versus Palisade, the Pumas White, as we all go into, I believe this is a 1-0 versus 1-0 affair. So knowing that they have actually taken on that first week, found some victory, there's a little bit of momentum to begin, considering there's about 5 to 6 weeks of total competition, and you're trying to stay at the top of the stack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe this is a round robin system. So each week you're going to play somebody who has the same score as you, which would be great for us in terms of how close the games will ideally be. I think that'll be super exciting. Sorry, you'll play everybody in the matchup. I mixed up which bracket is which. You'll play everybody in the bracket, which is super exciting. I think that does give us the opportunity to guarantee that we see every single team if we have the time, of course. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to see, I believe it's 40 teams, but we are going to get to see a very good chunk of them due to how a round robin tends to be played across those 5-ish, 6-ish weeks. And then throw states on top of that. We'll get the opportunity to see a lot of teams. So I think that's super exciting. But going in, something we talk about every week, but I think it's so important to talk about every time, is a Valorant best of 1 is a beast in all its own. It is so unlike a best of 3 or a best of 5. It is pedal to the metal from round 1.
Yeah, it may not be your best map. It may not be your best agent. You're going to try and put the map and mode together as best as you can. The good news, though, is that this is a tried and true map. Is our first and our only map that we will see for our Valorant match today between the Pumas and the Panthers is Bind. I had a separate competition where they had 3 maps that they had to ban. Bind was right in the middle of them of what they have to pick. It was picked 66% of the time. This is a very tried and true map. It has been changed just a little bit. Jigsaw pieces moved hither and thither and yon, and now we have new agency to join into it. But otherwise, I feel like this is a comfort piece considering the overall field with no Sunset, no Ascent, that we can be able to see both the Pumas and the Panthers really find a great fight on.
And might I say, this is no disrespect to Ascent, but TTL and I talked about this last week. As commentators, as people that observe Valorant, we have seen Ascent a lot. It's everybody's comfort map. It's everybody's map. Okay, if we're going to map 3, let's make it a set. But to pull that out of the map pool has actually changed the competitive complexity a lot more than I was anticipating for exactly what you just said. It's that comfort pick. And now nobody gets it, so teams have to bump it from the map. Their second map becomes, that's their comfort pick. Third goes to second, and then it's like Ascent's all the way at the bottom now. So a lot of these teams are being pushed into some uncomfortable scenarios, but I think that's why we're seeing more Bind. I think that's why we're seeing more Split, because those are maps that have been around from the very, 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 very beginning. So if Ascent's not here anymore, let's play the maps that have been here just as long.
And at least have it into your repertoire. Make sure that you can execute well onto it. And the other maps that are coming in, because just like you mentioned, we've seen a lot of Split. Bind is going to stay. People are staying away from Pearl. They do not want to deal with a long distance battle, even though that you have a different agency to try and enable some of that. But they also still have gone back to 3 site maps. Lotus and Haven existing is huge, and a ton of different teams want to see Lotus a lot of the time. So getting to kind of flex, you get Tejo, who has now been able to push people off position in combination when that goes off of breaches. We get to see how the agency has really been flexing around, and I've seen a lot more Vise. So I love the evolution. You finally put the grandpa in the retirement home, let the new kid with them in Sunset to kind of chill together for a little bit. We'll see them in later rotations as well, though.
And let me say though, the Vise, I have had a bit of a an emotional growth with, because my students, for those that don't know, I'm the director of esports at Mercyhurst University in Pennsylvania. If any seniors are watching this, let's make it happen, baby. Anyway, I'll put that aside. But a lot of my students were telling me, you know, Matt, we want to do Vise. In my mind, I'm thinking of like Vise when they came out, which was not very strong. The kit wasn't working super great. Nobody knew how to play them. But my students really have changed my mind about Vise entirely, because they lost, I think it was week 1 of our new season. They said, Matt, please just trust us. Let us try Vise one time. They go in, they 2-0. I go, all right, guys, maybe I'm wrong. I said, you know what? Maybe this is my fault. Maybe I am wrong. And they've been locking in Vise for a lot of unique maps that we don't tend to see them on. And I feel like if anybody that's watching this right now at this VESL high school level is looking for like a new agent to try and shake up the bracket, I think Vise is a very effective way to go. They're making some silent waves, but the waves are growing as they get closer to the shore. I mean, Vise is gonna be meta soon, I think.
I feel like they definitely are. They're going to be here sticking around. They have a great anti-lurk trap. They also have some great activatables, just like you get on your Killjoys. So if you're afraid of Vise, now is the time. It's the dating sim is open. Go try Vise. But in opposite of that, Vise also was kind of, you know, when you talked about and you spoke to early Vise, they showed some lineups with that sheer wall that were ultimately kind of just discarded because they go back to the tried and true. I'm seeing Asparagus floating on the Killjoy. Sirius has already locked in the Cypher, so a little bit stuck to that, but everything else is flexing around.
Yeah, and you know, I build so much off of my own experiences. This is why I tend to talk about my students in my program so much. But Killjoy is one of those agents where I had a student come in during tryouts and say, "Oh, I'm a Killjoy specialist," and I thought I heard the trumpets. I mean, I was like, "This is the best possible thing that could have happened." Of all agents to come in and say, "I only play one," Killjoy is one of the best things you could have said to me. And I think Killjoy has so much versatility, is so powerful, can lock down a site entirely by herself. But we do see Asparagus on the KJ versus Sirius, who has locked in the Cypher. Now, those two, the notorious single site holder Sentinels, it's really going to come down to how each of them choose to play on how effective they can be with said agent.
Yeah, and that as well. But what we're seeing the difference of what we've seen, instead of it being kind of a major sentinel play, kind of having that singular set piece just stay to sight, running into either a dual controller or a dual initiator, and instead we're seeing much more to the double duelist, at least sitting onto the defensive side. And then opposite of that, you do have the Gecko and the Breach. So this is kind of a smash and dash situation. They're starting on the attack. I think that's a very strong pick, a very aggressive style, especially because they're going to be weaponized instead of a raise that is pretty optimal on this map. They're going to go into a jet, really aiming for a lot of those big gun battles, especially being assisted and supported by Rin on the Clove.
Yeah, when you lock Jet, it is so important to know. When you lock Jet, you are painting a picture for yourself because you are now the carry of the team, and you have to be. If you're doing poorly on Jet, if you're getting eliminated early, it's going to be really hard for the team to clean up on the rest of that. So I want to see if the Palisades are going to be able to make that happen with the Jet lock-in, because if the Jet falters, especially on the attack, things can get tough. But luckily, there is that secondary duelist in the pocket of Clove that's going to try to make that action happen. My biggest fear is Palisades getting onto site because they don't have smokes.
That's gonna be tough. So they're having to deal with basically micro smokes if they want to use any of the cloud bursts. They're gonna be going for a shock and awe campaign. They do have two big flashes. One is gonna be off of the flashpoint as well as the dizzy. So you cannot shoot one, you can shoot the other. And if you're attempting to do both at the same time, and then you do have the recoverable from the dizzy, you may get yourself caught just having to pick up some sunshades. So can the Pumas pounce into moments when they need to? We're gonna go to round number one.
Round number one, the pistol round. It's a make or break scenario here early on, because this is going to really shake up how things approach. That smoke, it's a bit of an open shot there, and it is going to be punished. Pandas goes down in the blink of an eye. Neo able to give a 5-4 advantage to the Palisades here in the pistol round.
You also don't have any heals for this Palisades side. Not that it is really super necessary when it comes to Valorant. Just kind of making note of it, since that you do have a Sky that can give you that overgrowth to really allow for extra moments and movements. That's going to be another big trade as everyone's starting to fall. Providence down to their final two, as Palisades looks like they're going to be able to get this plans off.
Palisades, though, one elimination can really turn the tide, and there it is. Fixation almost goes down, but of all agents to have that happen to, luckily, it's the one that can put herself right back up. The blink of an eye, 3 players down, just to 2 at hand, and Providence Gold sneaks out a pistol round win when I really did not think they were going to be able to do so.
No, that was actually looking so dicey, especially we're going to be seeing it over the course, I think, of this bind map. When you want initial contact and then you end up flexing away, you're looking for a secondary option, but that was also an opening pistol. You're kind of ready to get the heat check, just seeing if everyone is kind of ready to start the match and get that game going. So you kind of challenge things that you wouldn't normally. If that judge stays, we may actually have 3 judges. Okay, all right. Okay, sure.
I respect the hustle for sure. The 3 judges going to be coming out in the blink of an eye. Nobody down yet, though. 1 wolf taken out early. A guardian in pocket. Why are we wide swinging mid with a guardian? Oh, we're not. Okay, it was a bait. Oh, there's the judge. Neo down early, gives their life for the cause. Pandas falls forward, the 3 in favor of Providence with that weapons advantage.
Hiding in the smoke. Asparagus knows they don't really have much, but they can also run and gun. You can do so a little bit more effectively because it is a one-touch glove out of that Guardian. Ren does take down H-Dog, so with that spike down all the way into short, Ren has to be able to catch these catch these big duels out from behind. Sirius gets him with a judge, and then Outcast kills their own teammate off of the paint shells. Clutch up round. Shoo. They come up with that win off that attack.
That pinch shell may have actually made the difference. I hate to say that, but you take your own teammate down like that, and it's really going to be difficult. Now, I'm going to test myself and possibly embarrass myself here, but Palisades last year on their Overwatch team had a player named Rin as well.
Yep.
I believe that this is going to be the same player, which is fascinating because Rin on the Overwatch team, again, assuming it's the same player, was a support player. So to see them go from support Overwatch to Clove Valorant, that is a very different game. I mean, that is very interesting to see Rin at least top fragging right now for Palisades. They're able to tie things up, all of some great plays, but it's also exciting to see players, just like we talk about branching out in STEM, it's exciting to see players branching out across these esports here at VESL as well.
A completely separate style of shooter because, you know, Overwatch is so arcadey. You're going to get basically everything that you shoot at directly on target, and if you want to in this game, well, you got to be steady. You got to not move. And also seeing a support character go into something where they can maybe be a hero is kind of a big deal. Sirius will identify someone down line. They're going to use that aftershock, and they're going to clear that tube. Sirius does not get any damage. damage. That's huge, but it is still going to be the Pumas that are starting to fight their way in.
Puma's getting ready to pounce here early on, able to find that player advantage with Vandal in hand. Outcast has been boxed away with that AoE damage. Neo finds another, though, as Providence Gold just pours in from backside. The flash is out. Neo able to get out of the way, catches a bullet to the body through the bang there, though. 8 HP for Just Danny, just a Vandal in a dream. I think Providence has a really good opportunity to off-flank this, but Shui takes that Sky down. Gonna be a cloudy day as Sky is eliminated, and Outcast finds one, but walks into the bullets of another, and Rin guarantees that second round victory for Palisades White.
That was actually pretty big off of the initial Guardian kill because they got them off of a wall bang, pretty much meant for guessing where they were behind that surface. So you now catch a couple in a row, and they're going to clear the board of all of that weaponry and go in with some pure ARs. This buy-up, though, still not very strong for the Panthers. You have the one Sheriff that's going to be held out there by Outcast, and if you're on your raise, you're trying to give them a lot more weaponry. You could actually see them maybe kind of force up into that. They have 2,500 creds to spend. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe a Garden comes up, but they're going to keep this one low and kosher, and we may actually have a hero rifle come into that later round, but for right now, this defense looking a touch weak.
Okay, and I have gotten confirmation from our prod team that is the same Rin.
Let's
so
go.
my player database goes crazy. My player Rolodex does get to show off like that sometimes, and I have to say that seeing Providence Gold go for this Cypher setup here onto the B site and then not leave Cypher alone is really interesting. I think it does go to show their note of they're anticipating the Palisades to come up to B. They want to make sure they're ready so they can avoid the rotation, but it's also a bit of a gamble stack, because check this out, dude. A is wide open.
Oh, but also look how far and deep that we have a player all the way behind enemy lines. Fixation is just well behind them, and they're going to get so much value out of this. No one's going to expect that you're coming that deep from attacker side spawn. Everyone's going to be on site. They're going to be planting for that truck position, and now it's all about how you can take advantage of this flank.
Spike planted.
Golly, you turn the corner, your haircut comes a bit short, you get taken down early. Outcast trying to be that soul-standing player gets taken out by a double swing, high ground angle, not able to pick it up, and Palisades White. That's the cleanest round we've seen from either team so far.
That, you know, that there was a hero moment baked into that entire run, and then it just did not manifest. It felt like it's all the Chiefs fans thinking that this was a sure thing. It
was fly Eagles fly. Anyway, it's gonna be Palisades White coming in and really nicely here on that third round victory. Only 4 rounds in, and it's fascinating because Providence, they bought up for round 2, and they're still suffering the consequences.
Yeah. I mean, because that was their early buy. That was
they lost round 2 rather.
Yeah, so they go into that, and now it's just been a consistent domino effect. And just like I was saying earlier, Outcast was the lone man on the pole that did not actually buy into a weapon, so now he has an AR into this first fight, but he hands it off. So, or rather, he's going to be keeping it from at least this A site. But look at the tendencies. You talked about the fact that they had played into this Cypher setup, willing to receive, and now they've completely turncoat away from that B site. They're playing to be able to retake.
Yeah, but Palisades are either getting really lucky or they're reading Providence's play style here, because check that out. Providence goes, okay, they hit B, they're gonna hit A. Palisades goes, they know we're gonna go for A, let's hit back over to B. Now that Cypher setup is in the way, so we're gonna have to see if they're able to get out of hookah with B's Outcast. A really aggressive angle here. You're just going 1 for 1 if you can find it, and there it is. They are able to get theirs before they're taken out of the way, but Fixation, new sheriff in town, dismisses Neo from the mortal coil and opens a player advantage opportunity for Providence here as the B site plans has come to fruition. Wow, that is a great shot from Sirius. Double cyber cage goes up, wide swing out for the Vandal, and the aggression pays off. Sirius, living up to the namesake here, does get that secondary elimination, and Providence Gold doesn't quite tie us up, puts us 1 round shy.
Sirius Black does not fade into the archways, not making anyone sad this time around. Instead, they come out and they just lay a bullet to the face twice. That was a great shot off of their initial sheriff, and then using both cyber cages to give them some space in the garden, go and get that weapon, and then ultimately clear out Rin. Very smart, and created enough of a separation for the Panthers out of Palisades to get themselves back, or rather out of Providence, to be able to finally get in control. They had been in this kind of weird march in reverse, and they also got rid of Neo early, which means they could not secure that plant with that Thrash. You see a lot of ultimates online, though, and this one could get loud in this round 6.
Yeah, indubitably so. And there is definitely the scenario of Neo just having the utility to take site, that Providence has had the knowledge of. You take the Gecko down, it gets that much harder to capture site, to kind of get that spy plant down. And I think Providence is really showing us a good example of a team that's able to adapt on the fly, because they've changed their play style fundamentally from rounds 1, 2, and 3 to the point where they're really going to give Palisades a run for their money as this game continues to play out.
And Empress has actually been popped, so Fixation, we're going to be giving them our looks, as everyone else might be as well. Outcast will be playing right next to them, but Fixation, in fact, does drop. And both of your key duelists are gone. Both ultimates now unavailable. One burned, one still in the back pocket. Ren is going to use the not dead yet. They're going to come back to life as this plant will be going through on truck.
A big turnaround there with that Clove ultimate, because it does maintain that player advantage that had been lost. It was going to be a 3-3 tie-up, but Ren able to pop that not dead yet. Returns them to the showers. They know somebody's going to be there on the right swing, but unfortunately just goes down before they can get a lot of value with that ult. They say pros don't fake. Let's see if Pandas considers themselves a pro. Sirius gets the swing. That spike is still being diffused. Thrasher does go out. Is it too late? And it is. Pros don't fake indeed. Neo gets a beautiful cleanup, restabilizes the economy a bit, but the game is tied regardless.
That was unfortunate because the Thrash actually completed their dive, but they didn't dive deep enough into the sky smoke that was set up for themselves by Pandas. So it's one of those tough moments where you actually get to see previous patches come to fruition. You cannot ping directly where Spike is and no longer on top of smoke. You have to kind of guess and check around it. So good looks by Pandas, just being aggressive, getting back to the truck and getting through. So first 6 finally off the board, and the response so far has been clinical. Outcast, early damage. They take down the first, but they will be traded.
Gets a little overconfident there with that wide swing, but luckily got theirs before they went down. The 4-4 tie-up on the board now. Palisades White looking for an opportunity to find that strike. But it's that 4-4 tie-up. I mean, it's almost like Providence is doing it on purpose. They send somebody in to guarantee they get that one. They remove 20% of the firepower from the attacking team, and then they're able to isolate and eliminate from there.
Really stacked up A over and over again. They do not want to let A be a freebie, and because the set and forget it with the spike cam as well as the tripwires from this setup, you know that you can basically kind of return to center. They're going to use the aftershock, but I'd be very careful about that overall flank that would be coming through from behind. They do at least get caught out by some Killjoy util, and they're going to rotate early. There's still one player that could be finding them. H-Dog is ready to go.
Ooh, Pandas gets a beautiful elimination onto Danny there. Walks right out into another spray. Asparagus has been eaten out here on this round. Providence Gold does fall, and things are going to be a little bit uncomfortable. 3-2 though. Oh my goodness! It's like H-Dog knows where to pre-fire. That's absurd. That's 2 in a row.
That's good looks because they're seeing the single step and knowing you have to be able to keep yourself even. You can't just suddenly sprint around. Flashpoint for Shuey to gain some ground in a 1v2. Seekers probably going to keep those in the back pocket. They're just going to play off each other. They know Spike is well behind them. You have your gun down, and then you're out. As H-Dog not going away, playing anchor, ruined this Puma attack.
I mean, credit where it's due. Providence Gold able to find a big opportunity. 4-3 now. So what was it, 3-1 at one point? And we've gone up to 4-3. So I mean, this is just the best possible example of that adaptability, of that improvement we've seen from both teams. But Providence Gold, they're starting to sneak away with it. I wouldn't be afraid, or I wouldn't be surprised rather, to see them start really winning this first round.
That's true, and I feel like this is also the same kind of bucket that we got to see a moment ago, that they were kind of toughing it out through the eco after getting that first one. When you have an eco break into round number 2 after being the first one to be able to buy, and then you lose that's rough. And if you're not prepared to actually kind of win out some of those better executes, then you're just not going to recover well. Fixation finds another one, and Fixation was tough to get started. Reyna's kind of are at times, and they're now going to be off the board, so they're at least getting their one.
You got to get your one. That's the name of the game. Time and time again, it's exactly what Providence has been doing. And I think I want to see Palisades try to adapt around it. They know somebody's going to wide swing. I genuinely think all 5 players should stand on a major angle and wait for them to do it. Take that player down before they get their shot. You go into a 5-4 advantage. You get the point open. You get plant down, and you almost guarantee yourself the round win if you can continue playing the defense we've seen when they force a retake. Ooh, good rotations here. Even better timing. It is still going to be 1-to-1 though. Shuyi was not fast enough.
They got at least one, but they also kind of stuck behind with that one. So they're going to have Wingman go and get the plant. They're caught onto a tripwire. Oh my goodness, they're going to have to completely get that one out. And they're chasing them down. They know that they're damaged down to the wire, but not exactly out. So with that tripwire out, they get rid of the swarm grenade, and now they use the next one early just to preempt it at least. Asparagus has 1 HP. They're going to try and swing from behind. Outcast is not going to know that they're coming in. Everything all blinded, and it's a 1v2, and eventually the sandwich catches them between the rise. So 4-4, the attack works out just enough there, Septilence.
Yeah, it's a round win, but holy cow, it almost wasn't by quite a lot. First and foremost, I want to compliment that serious tripwire. Just the beautiful read on plant was going to be default. They were going to go for the rotation. They get the wire grab, and they're able to almost find the elimination off. And now the elimination did come through eventually, I believe, but just didn't have the time to make the difference fast enough. It's going to be 4-4, already the closest Valorant matchup we've seen in the 3 total weeks of VESL this season so far.
Yeah, preseason was a nice little kind of starter kit, gave you some flavor, bring you back to VESL the second week. Then we got to slowly see, all right, everyone waking up. But this 1-1 matchup, as we go through our round robin, we're going to find that all these teams have to kind of go through the gambit. Outcast might find themselves into multiple targets. They find the first. The next one gets lit up, but Asparagus wins that from distance.
I mean, I want to see exactly what I said. I want to see all 5 players stand at a major angle. They know somebody from Providence Gold is going to peek, and if they haven't picked up on that play style yet, well, perhaps maybe when they watch back on this VOD, they can for the future, because there is definitely a repeatable pattern of somebody from Providence almost always outcast, wide swinging early, getting a pick, and removing 20% of your team. If the 5 of them just play 5 more seconds of patience, it's a lot easier to let outcast overextend. You get the pick, and you have a guaranteed numbers advantage.
Oh, that was so wrong. They're going to be able to get Wingman. The spike is now on the truck.
I hate watching Wingman be shot. I hate it. I hate it.
Me too, but H-Dog is the one that is the mercenary. That has completely ruined them. Oh my gosh. They take out the lockdown as well that was used to try and maybe create some space, go and recover that spike. But that early rotation, it felt like they just kind of threw their cards onto the table and showed them exactly where they wanted to go. Oh, they do have the man advantage. They still have to get that utility.
Man advantage is going to be the name of the game here. And a neat little fact that I want to bring up that production has told me, we mentioned Rin earlier being on the Valorant team and the Overwatch team. I've gotten confirmation is also on the Marvel Rivals team.
Oh my god.
So Rin really just triple threat here. Loves the hero-based shooters, apparently. Definitely has a preference in gameplay style. But also, I got more information, but I'm not sure if it's public information, so I'm not going to say all of it, but I have heard that Rin has already made a collegiate decision as well as it is her senior year. So very exciting. I'm excited to talk more about that, but I will always wait for her confirmation before I don't want to spoil that for anybody. But very exciting regardless. Huge news on the sides of Palisades, a high school program that has been dumping out powerful players since I have ever heard about them. So that trend clearly continues.
Honestly, that'd be really cool to see at States. I'm not gonna lie. Like kind of like a pre-post graduation thing. Want to be able to celebrate everyone finding
Rin's got 3 chances.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's a Rin to me.
Oh, okay, that was good. I like that one.
But you got the early blade pop. They do have the Rolling Thunder online. Feels like this is kind of one of those weird eco situations where they had to go for a mid buy. Fall line comes out, and they're pretty much showing they're going to be going to A. They're going to force their way. They're going to march into this moment if they can.
Oh, Fixation holding this angle again. There's definitely a repeated pattern here that I'm not sure Palisades has picked up on. Outcast always comes out through hookah, always Fixation always stands backside under heaven. There's 2 players that are repeating their approach every single time. Is there a way to punish that? Is there a way to find an opening? Hopefully Palisades is going to be able to figure it out, as we are on round 10 of the first half, so we're rapidly approaching that side swap.
Got that at least a bit of info off of the Pathfinder. Shuey is unable to do anything more from that jigsaw piece, so that you have 2 options. You either keep marching and you force and you kind of gamble roll straight into this, but Ren is actually separated from everyone. You don't have a lot of weaponry, and you have only 27 seconds if you intend to take the teleporter. Looks like they're going to cover their approach. Oh, the showstopper! They're chasing him down. Can they get the kill? No, unable to. They have the mosh pit, but it wasn't deep enough off of the initial TP.
Neo just looking to be the hero here. They're not going to double blast back in. I don't think Outcast saw Neo. I think trigger discipline actually loses that battle there. I think there was an opportunity to walk up behind, find the elimination, but hindsight is 2020 after all. Providence Gold, 6th round win. Palisades have to win the next 2 rounds to guarantee a tie going into the second half. There's no opportunity for them to be in the lead for half 2 of this map, so they really need to lock in for these remaining 2 rounds.
A lot of love right now over to Providence Gold and the way that they actually kept their composure. Like the first 4 was starting to look a little bit tricky, and then when we got to that 5th round, it was an all-out measurement of how they can be able to take a high-pressure moment and then recover. They have done so well. The last 6 rounds, they've won 5 of them. We see a lot of great work. They do go for those early kills, so I feel like some of that needs to be kind of coached back, pull a little bit on the leash, get everyone to settle early, or maybe go for some of these double swings, get high value out of it if you can.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with the point you're saying. I think pulling on the leash a little bit might be a good idea here, but I also see where they're coming from because it keeps working. So it's like, hey, if Palisades aren't going to punish this overextension, if they're not going to punish this aggression, why stop, right? I mean, Providence has lost a couple of rounds, but 2 of those are from the first 3 rounds of the game. And then Palisades really have not been able to find that same energy. I think Providence has realized that if they tip the scales in their favor, they force the Palisades to slide into them. Palisades isn't able to play as well. Palisades as a program, as a high school program across any esport I've played in, they're the type of teams that want to be in charge. And when you take that power away from them, when you force them to play to your speed and to your momentum, they do seem to struggle a little bit more. Providence seems to have really figured that out, and they're doing a great job making Palisades White uncomfortable here on Bind.
And with 50 seconds to go, they have to make a decision. That bomb is, in fact, over towards the teleporter side. Do you commit to this? They will. They're going to use the Rolling Thunder. They're going to clear straight through into that pipe. You will have at least Outcast coming in from behind all the way into that marketplace, but all the action is directly on the B side. Shui's going to pick up a better weapon than the Bulldog that they had off of the dismiss. The Empress is online, but the crown for the Queen is on the ground. It's a 1v2. Make it none as Asparagus finds a wallbang headshot. H-Dog cannot hold this site.
Oh my goodness, the wallbang headshot is crazy work. That was absurd. And I do want to say something about the confidence we're seeing from Providence, because I've never seen something that screams confidence more than Pandas getting blinded 3 times in a row and still swinging out mid to try and get an elimination. I mean, that was definitely a power play. They weren't able to win the round, and I don't think that's the reason why, but that was definitely a choice that had been made there, and I do think that elimination comes out a little early. It does lose Providence their numbers, and Palisades with the numbers advantage were able to win this. I believe we've only seen 1 round this game so far where the team with the player advantage actually lost. It's been a very clear-cut pattern so far. If whoever gets that first elimination has won the round every time except for once.
That's very true. And now you also have kind of a lesser arsenal to have to deal with a couple of Guardians, but that blast, those paint shells are going to be able to cover the advance of what could have been a take advantage from that fault line. Outcast into the sky smoke. This is just be able to get some extra information. It may give away that they are very close quarter, and that aftershock will take away where they want to stay. So you have a Thrash and a Not Dead Yet, basically a 6 or 7 man cell off of this attack, and they do not win the swing this time. That means they can press with huge advantage.
I mean, arguably the worst possible time for Outcast to lose the swing for the first time. That is the player going down, one of your duelists is missing, and it's your power player at best that raised that literal showstopper with the utility she has, that point clearer. Oh, H-Dog has the Bucky in the pocket. Rin gets right back up. Not dead yet. Gonna try to re-emerge. Gotta get an elimination fast, though. Sirius onto 1. Doubles it. Gives it to somebody else, but 2 players missing. It's only up to Sirius on the wide swing corner. Fault line up. Neo to bullet Sirius down. And the Palisades do tie us up 6-6 going into the second half of Bind.
A very intense match so far, and now we get to measure out how they're going to handle being on the defensive half. I feel like Sirius was very clinical from their Cypher play. They did not flex away. Everything stayed to be, and that really kind of lessened and narrowed the playbook by which they were going to allow Providence Gold, or rather, they're going to allow Palisades White to advance. A lot of testing of how and how they kind of super stack that, but otherwise, they play their cards very, very fundamentally. You're going to stay to be cover window, see what happens off of that cam from long, and that's what really gave them a ton of information. Opposite of that, though, where we're getting this Killjoy set up, it seems like both our Sentis just going to lock down B.
It works. It's simple. I'm not a Sentinel player, never have been, but I mean, it's what I would always tell my students to do. You locked on the B site here on Bind. It's smaller than A site. There's less angles to approach in, and I think the utility of Sentinels does lend itself quite well, especially with that head glitch turret that we just saw from the KJ, a very traditional pattern since the very beginning of this map. The flash goes out. 4 players going to be pushing into hookah, 1 through B long. Outcast, though, into box already. Ooh, Nano Swarm, a little bit of damage off the top. I'm also noting shields in the pistol round, but unfortunately did not save Outcast. Jury able to find 2-2-1 trade. Palisades 4-3 advantage. Spike plant down for Providence. 400 additional credits going into the next round. Unfortunately, Sirius gets taken out by Danny early, but H-Dog finding the trade. 3-2, 3-1.
Ooh.
Defuse up. Nobody knows Pandas is back here. And as we see a good example, that's a double. Put to me. Unfortunately, just not able to make it happen. Rin finds Pandas, gives Palisades their second pistol round win of the map so far, and puts them in the lead for the first time in a long time.
Are you an all chat question marker with shields and pistol round? I need to know. Is that
yes, 100%, 100%. I think shields and pistol round is crazy work. I think one agent in this whole game gets to do that, and it's Sage. And nobody else needs to be buying shields in the pistol round. You need to be buying the ghost, and you need to be hitting your shots. The shields simply do not matter if there's no one left to shoot you. That's my mentality on that.
I am shaking in my chair. Is my football coach here? Tell me to get good at my sport. Tell me what to do.
There are a few things I'm that passionate about, and that is one of them. Shields in the pistol round is diabolical. Ooh, Marshall.
All right, so we actually never saw a snipe fight here in Long, and now exposing yourself, Shuey. That was a good idea initially, but that's not where you want to get caught.
Yeah, that is a bit of an unfortunate wind-up. Early Shuyi drops the Marshall, I believe, kind of hands a stronger weapon over to Providence. It's strong if you know how to use it. This isn't just a rifle. And Sirius looking for quick scopes. Not sure how valuable that's going to be, but I think that's just a little bit of warm-up here. Moving into sight, creating some suppressive fire. H-Dog plant already down. So the timer ticking for Palisades White.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of their highest ranked players was in fact Sirius. The way that they played so far on
I think undoubtedly
so clinical. They're sometimes you get some of your safer players to be the Sentis that have to stay back and not the duelists. We're seeing a full wave come through, especially, but that is a couple of hurt players for the 3 remaining out of this Palisades section. You actually do have some quick scopes that are hitting Sirius. I think they know what they're doing off the Marshall.
Yeah, I have to agree. Sirius might not be the new sheriff in town, but at least we've got a Marshall in the pocket. Providence Gold, 2 players left standing, tie us up for the 4th time this series, now at 7-7.
No, I don't think they're, well, I'm gonna knock on my hardwood floor. I don't think they're gonna ever add agent skins into the game, but if they did, I would hope that they give a Desperado look to Cypher. He would rock that so well. It would be magical, especially just give him like a really cool cowboy hat. I don't know, something about it. But we are tied up. That's another eco break, and you do see Palisades kind of consider what they got to do. They're going to go for maybe a couple mid buys, but nothing too excellent. And Providence Gold able to have the advantage as they walk into this attack.
Danny, 34 HP on the board already, waiting for that time to strike, but
oh man,
I knew Asparagus was there and I still jumped. Neo able to find that elimination. Another one. But H-Dog wins it out with that weapons advantage. 3-3 on the board. Spike plant not down yet, but you've got 70 seconds, so a lot of time left. Danny, 30 HP. Sheriff in a dream. Juyi has the swing, but Outcast has the Vandal.
Just a good mind to check back showers. Ooh, but Danny, okay. You know that they're basically sequestered to this tight corner. H-Dog is going to be able to find at least one more. It's a 3v1, and often that's just going to go sideways for you. H-Dog on A site with 3 kills. Name me a more prolific trio of things, because that continues to be a regular occurrence. And, you know, this is starting to look equal but opposite here, Septilence. You got to wonder if this is going to be another successive round on the attack. It was much the same way in our first half.
It was, and we're getting a very similar story of Palisades winning the pistol round, losing the follow. Oh no, I'm just lying. Providence won the pistol round, and Palisades was able to turn things around early. So we're actually getting the inverse, almost the other side of the looking glass here of Palisades winning pistol round. Providence wins secondary and tertiary, and they continue that reign of terror here on the attack.
You do have the orbital strike, and you got Seekers. Providence with a pretty good bucket of overall options. Palisades, they saved into this round, so they're going to have at least a Vandal or 2 to answer to the call. Testing through this. Now, you don't have the direct tripwires, so the only thing that you're gonna get tripped up on is if you initially get caught by that turret. And Fixation, I think they're lucky. They were looking to hop outside of that window. The orbital strike is actually gonna clear that backside. You use the Molly to do the same thing, and they're just catching them from distance.
It's going to be strays here from Providence through the smoke. Sirius really doing a great job here for the opportunity to strike. Providence Gold does pick up 2 elims. They've got the better weapons, they've got the player advantage, and they've got the timer in their favor. 8-7. Here we go.
Checking that mosh pit just to take him off corner. I would think off of this buy round, a 2v5, you start considering what you got to do for a save. I think raw peeking through this smoke, probably not the greatest idea. Flawless round will secure an equal but opposite venture for Septilence, but I think that's our first flawless of the entire game.
I agree. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. We've seen a thrifty, we've seen a clutch, and we've seen a flawless. And now we have not seen a repeat of any of them. We've seen each of them one time. So I'm curious if that's going to continue. I've got to say, Providence, they looked good on the defense. They're looking very good on the offense. We're seeing a different team, a different play style, and there's some irony there, right, of doing better when you've got a Cypher on your team who's just a defense extraordinaire. But it's the way they're moving into site so quickly, they're forcing Palisades into retaking, which basically means Providence is playing defense to begin with. They take the site early, they get the plant on, and they force Palisades to rotate back into them. It's worked 3 times in a row. Let's see if we can hit that 4th.
I mean, Sirius's power is information. If he can give the 2 big duelists some information, then it's huge. They actually use the updraft, and they will still pull out to the showstopper, and then they shoot it late into the truck because Sirius has already taken him down. Neural Theft online being used. First ping finds 2, maybe even 3 targets to backside. If they swing this early, look how close quarters.
Oh, no way.
They're giving away the decoy. Outcast is going to win this first fight, wins the second, maybe the third, and they're actually double swinging. They get caught from up that hallway.
That's amazing. The double swing in. Sirius finding a 3K of their own. 2 players finding all 5 eliminations for Providence Gold there. 10-7. 3 rounds away from a victory here is Providence Gold.
Info. Sirius 17 and 9. Info. It's all about info. It's all about knowledge. They're big brains out here for the side of Providence. I mean, the Panthers, they kind of had to stymie and they had to put a tourniquet on what was an early bleeding first half. Since then, they've really found a means to the method and mode that Palisades putting up. Now they did tie that one up, but this second half has been all Panthers.
All Panthers all day. You know, we talked about in the first half getting ready to pounce, so I believe that has happened. And now they're going for the kill. Panda's able to find an elimination onto Shu Yi. Early top frag of Palisades is now down, by the way. So that is going to make this round even harder. Let's see if the Palisades can play low and slow, if the patience can pay off, or if they're just unfortunately gonna lose the A site. Ooh, Sirius onto Asparagus. Does not get more serious than this. 5-3, 3-round difference, and I think that's about to grow 1 round further.
Oh, and Sirius is right around the corner. They do see at least the jacket down to very low, trying to just kind of poke and prod. They're going to call for Outcast to support them, and that is going to be what flawless it back up. We didn't have 2 of those before. Well, we've added a second to the collection, and here's the key difference. They didn't exactly have a lot of weapons. They knew they could press into that round, but Providence Gold is now at 11. Couple rounds until this bind map is complete. Round, or rather week number 2 could have them at 2-0. Palisades White got to find a defense that works, and you had mentioned before at the very beginning of this, they do have that kind of single smoker off of the Clove, and it feels like not a lot of that has been weaponized the best way this time around.
No, I really don't think so. I think there's going to be that Clove kind of coming through and not being able to find a lot of opportunity for Palisades. But I think more so against individual player performance, we are still seeing just what might be a little bit of nerves or a bit of frustration. Palisades have gotten a lot less patient with their opportunities. They're constantly trying to wide swing angles. They're almost trying to imitate how Outcast was playing on the defense. They're trying to swing early, get a pick. They're not able to do so. They back out. They get followed. They get taken down. And there's been a bit of a repeated pattern here. We see this B-side given up for free here. So now only about 80 seconds available for this until this round comes to an end. Shu Yi, a slow approach up, a lot of smokes in the way, more so to come. I think dropping the Rolling Thunder here, that much harder because Neo gets caught on a stray.
But you know what? Rolling Thunder's going to go out. They do not claim this corner, and Fixation knows that. The Devourer comes up. That is going to be free HP, baby. They get caught from this smoke, and now just as you go blind from too much dirt and dust from the old visor, you didn't then fall because you're separated. Outcast cleans the rest up as Ren will get kicked out. It is now 12-7. Match point unlocked for the Panthers. They've got some ultimates they can weaponize. I don't want to see those left on the board, but look at the 6 in a row.
Yeah, 6 in a row is tough, and I think you're getting in the scenario where if you're going to use an ultimate, it's going to be now. I mean, quite literally, it has to be, right? I think it should have been in the previous round, but I get wanting to save some for this final. I've seen teams come back from deficits. Actually, the best reverse sweep I've ever seen in my life was a 12-0 first half, and then the other team on bind came back and won the game 14-12. But that was at this point almost 2 years ago. But the point is, the Palisades can make this happen, but it does become that much harder. That's going to be a player taken down in the blink of an eye. Danny doesn't even get to play what could possibly be the final Valorant round of the day.
The tonal shift. Lockdown is going to get weaponized. They're going to try and get back to it. They actually get it broken. That's going to be a not dead yet. Ren's going to come back to the board as Fixation cleared them the first time. They do have the dismiss to be able to get themselves back into the fight, but then they get cleared by the same guy that got Neo. So it's a 1v5. Shu Yi versus the world. They find the first. They hit the spy cam. Can they make it a second time? Start to look like a hero.
Shu Yi, this would be the play of a lifetime, my friend. But unfortunately it falls just a little bit short. Providence Gold 13-7 victory here in our Valorant matchup, best of 1 over Palisades White.
Whenever we saw Palisades White initially on their attack here, Septilence, they definitely looked and rotated between separate sites that seemed more available for them to walk into. And I mean, they tested A several different times. They ended up kind of moving between, I think, pretty evenly where they wanted to go between A and B. The difference, though, when we finally spin this around is that Palisades was undeterred from where they wanted to go. As soon as they knew a mark and they wanted to be able to get that first pick, they moved with pace, and it was no question what they wanted to do.
Without a doubt. No question on the board, and a great performance from both teams, but it is going to be Providence that walks away with that win over Palisades. We see Shu Yi 20 elims tied for top frag in lobby, but if you go to the other side, we see H-Dog we see Pandas with 15 elims versus only 8 as the low frag on the other side. So I do think it comes across to that team disparity. Unfortunately, one player wasn't able to do enough, and Providence just had a very strong bond. They had great communication, they had very solid eliminations, and it does put them in the lead for this. But the good news is it's only week 2. A lot of the season left to be played.
Tons of the season left to be played. You're gonna have
you're
gonna have a dirty record, and you know what? To me, when you have an undefeated record, that shows some level of kind of major heroics. It's a glorified moment, and it's really awesome. But when you have something that you can learn from, that's the kind of Valorant, that's the kind of competition that I like to see, because that means that you have a learning curve that you are going to be meeting, and that's about going back to the program, to your teammates, and being able to review the VOD, make it work, and see what you can improve on going next.
That's all you can do. GG, go next. Quite literally, that's always what esports will be about, because it's every day we improve. And if you're not trying to improve, well, then you need to be, right? We're never going to be the best player in the room, and it's important to acknowledge that. I think Palisades have a lot to learn. I think there's a great VOD there. There were some really solid rounds to be played, and there were a couple that can be looked at to see what we want to be doing differently going into bind. As I do think we talked about already, it will become increasingly more popular as Valorant persists. With Valorant wrapping up, I believe we've got a little bit more action coming up later today, so we are going to go ahead and throw to a break. We've got either Marvel Rivals or some drone matchups, drone rivalries in just a couple of minutes. Regardless, plenty more VESL left to be seen. We'll see you right back here in just a couple of minutes.
To compete for $120,000. It's gonna be awesome. There's multiple titles. Check it out. It's a grand finals time! I'm gonna show you behind the scenes of an esports event. So this is the mothership behind me. This is a mobile gaming rig. It's a whole production set. So follow along. We have some games going on right now. Right now we have Smash going on, and you can see there's multiple PCs set up, Valorant, Rocket League, 2K. This is where all our players took place. The entire tournament happened right on this rig. Let's go bother the casters for a second. All right, so right here is where the casters are. So if you guys ever wondered what it was like to be a caster, this is exactly what it's like. Here's the people that actually do all the work, make sure that you guys can see what's going on. Not easy. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on back here. Can't even explain it to you, not gonna try. That's the mothership. That's how you run an entire esports event on one rig. It's amazing. Definitely come check it out if you find it near you.
North Carolina, let me hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the North Carolina Varsity STEM State Championship. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here for the VESL State Championship. So much is on the line, and so many players have competed for their opportunity to be on the big stage.
Back to Jones, he can go inside. He's going to show you some moves. Let's go through. 3 after shot from the one.
Oh, he's getting caught with the hand.
Oh my God! He's not been checked. He finds it! All that remains in Reno are your VESL Valorant State Champions!
again.
And they're going to do something here right there. And wow, that was nascent. Do something without having to, and it's like for a knock.
Back in, now 92%. Misty, oh, so close. Trying to just put up their guard. They're going to get uppercut, and that one's done. Flawless saves will take your grand finals.
Hello everyone, I'm Baka. I'm the manufacturing coach according to the STEM region of VESL.
There's coaches like you that are helping students be able to get through. So talk to me about what's going on behind us.
The students, they were told to use a CAD software, the same ones that a lot of engineers use in commercial companies nowadays, where they were tasked to build just a box card using the software and then print them out and then actually have them race later on today on the stream.
Launch. Oh man, the racing.
I feel like amazing. I spent so much time on this car learning about aerodynamics, and it's proving itself right now.
You just won your whole team gaming season.
It took a lot of time trying to figure out our schedule so we can come together and make the project.
What will stop you guys from winning states next year again?
I want to say nothing, but there will always be challenges in life, and we'll face it.
Farming, it's a major industry of North Carolina. All of these teams across North Carolina, they learned about the technology of precision farming to optimize the outputs of their soil.
Teams have been competing throughout the regular season by managing a startup, adapting to market changes, and diversifying their portfolio before advertising their products in a simulated auction event, which they will be doing today.
We are giving the win to Carver High School. They are getting the esports arena at their school.
The healthcare section was simply focusing on players' health. So we're gonna focus on dieting, routine, making sure your reaction time is good, and really go into like what you're putting into your body and how it affects our results.
You see that at the highest level of sport. To see that at like a high school level is amazing.
It's huge, and again, allowing kids to just be themselves and accomplish amazing things, and you know that they can make a career out of this stuff. So
VESL is giving people a safe space to enjoy their hobbies and to excel in their hobbies, and I do think that's something that should be taken note of by a lot of people. So good job, VESL.
Gaming is now cool, so it's pretty awesome.
STEM, is a big, broad, vast for itself, but if you put in gaming with the understanding of STEM, you know, you can do a whole lot with it.
I mean, these kids are incredible. I cannot take any credit for their skills. They play together, they strategize. It went from we're trying it out to CMS recognizing us as a varsity sport.
I got to cast them last season. I'm super surprised with the level at high school. We just saw Dixon there bringing it home. They were so good. My expectations are met every single time with the teams here at VESL.
It really allowed him to see the plateau of, oh yeah, I can do something. I can push myself.
All right, Ryan. Well, huge congratulations on winning this PC. Do you remember the specs on your current PC you have right now at home?
I think it was a 3070.
Oh, okay, so nice jump then. You're going to a 4070 Ti Super on this one. Not only did you win a PC today, you also won the tournament as well today as well. So that's amazing. Congratulations.
We never thought it would go as far as this. We thought maybe we'd get a few prizes, but it's just a fun thing to do.
During that game, I had to put my head down a couple times. I was so nervous. And then the comeback was just amazing. I ended up in the back so I could jump up and down and go crazy like I love to do. I love it. I don't want it to end.
None of us were really that close before this, and honestly, like, I'd hang out with all of them together. Like, we all enjoy hanging out with each other, and yeah, it's kind of great to see how much we've all become friends over this.
Yeah, I think our team chemistry, like from the beginning, has just been better than any other team. We can trust ourselves more than any other team can.
They know it's not a single player sport. Whenever one of us loses, we think, okay, well, how are we going to win the next match? And they get more excited when their teammates win than when they win, and I'm so proud of them.
Well, I mean, he's been playing since 2016.
and to see this progress. I just wish the word would get out to all the high schools that are out there. If you would have learned a lot sooner, we don't know how far this would go.
So you guys just won $1,000. First of all, congratulations. What are you guys planning on doing with that?
I think a lot of it is gonna some college stuff because, you know, graduating this year, so college is very expensive, so I'm gonna put towards college a lot of the time, I think.
Probably just gonna save it. That's probably all I'm gonna do. Or I might just get a new monitor because my monitor isn't the greatest.
I'm gonna use that money to try to pay off my debt, so that's probably it.
All right, cool. Some responsible actions going on from you guys.
So it was very exciting. The kids enjoyed it. It's the experience that they'll never forget, and that's what I was wanting to give them.
Who do you got winning it all?
Winning it all? I mean, Green Hope. I mean, they won it last season.
If they win it again, I will get a VESL tattoo tattooed on me. So that will be my bet for the season.
That's a big bet, Risk.
I know.
Let's go!
All right, well, just got the tattoo done. Shout out to Green Hope for making it happen. You know, AK couldn't pull it off, so here we are. Looks pretty good. I'm actually happy Green Hope won because this is, you know, it turned out really nice. We'll see what the next bet's gonna be. You know it's gonna happen at some point. See what next season entails.
The best players all over have come to the Raleigh Convention Center to compete for $120,000. It's gonna be awesome. There's multiple titles. Check it out.
It's a grand finals time!
I'm gonna show you behind the scenes of an esports event. So this is the
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to VESL week number 2 of Thursday Night Lights. I'm still Sepulence, joined by Hail Monkey Man once more. While we may be the same, we're entering some new territory here on the Thursday Night Lights stream. We're jumping into drone rivalries, I believe.
Yes, we're going to be going straight up into it. And of course, all the students they put in some fantastic work from home to be able to code into this competition. That's exactly how they got all these drones to do what they did. You guys have seen drone FPVs, those big races. Well, this one's about so coding. Those are great, and I just don't have the hand-eye coordination to be able to handle it. Well, they didn't need to either, as they pre-coded this. I believe there was one other coding, but also as well as Python utilized from a nice platform to give them the ability to use trial and error and then ultimately come up with their endpoint solution to get the most points into this. And they have to go through an entire automated process to be able to make this one work here, Sepulence.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just this is going to sound so cheesy and like an ad read, but I swear this is a very genuine thought of mine. It's like, this feels like a very pinnacle time to be introducing this to students, to be introducing this to children, because this is something that if you start learning at 20, like, you're going to be behind the curve a little bit. But putting this at a high school level, we talked about the resume applications that this can have earlier, but it's really going to streamline that process of finding what part of STEM or what part of coding or what part of drone working that you love. Is it the flying, like you said? Is it the racing? Is it the VR kind of navigation that we would see more in the cave delving or search and rescue style? Is it the coding that we'd see more often with the wildfire, you know, like water relocation that we talked about? Like, it's one of those very strong opportunities to find out what part of the drones do you find the most interesting, because there's so many parts it can be. That flying, that search and rescue, it could be the actual hardware, being that drone mechanic, if you will. There's so many parts of this that matter, and I think putting these almost like mini games to an extent relating to these drones is going to help students really lock into a part they're looking for,
because you're going to go for precision, you're going to go for how well did we execute. Be able to just do the coding piece allows you with drones, as well as just from kind of making your stack just being able to get this edit, be able to work. Because if any of you have ever coded with Python or literally any other kind of language, you know that it never comes out perfect and something is always wrong, and it might be just one little input that you're like, why is this here? So every method to the madness makes up, well, someone getting angry, but eventually you fucking work through your frustration and you have a working project at the end of the day. All those awesome representations and as well as examples you listed there, Sepulence, every one of that is huge. We've seen it live day to day. I mean, you see it from a sports function, you see it from military, the news. Every part of this is real world application, and I can't wait to see how all these teams do, because we're gonna be going to our first matches here in a moment.
Yes, we absolutely are. We've got Early College East versus I feel so bad for this school because I never say this correctly. Cabarrus County.
I think
Cabarrus
so.
County Early Colleges. They're going head-to-head here in Early College East High. They are going to be coming through top earning in micro-credentials. They're a team that I don't think we know a whole lot about yet. I heard them referred to as a wild card earlier today, so that's very exciting. They're going up against Cabarrus County Early Colleges, who I believe are bringing Cat Peaches to the table, who was a previous drone player in the fall. So that's one of few players we know with previous drone experience. Could make or break the circumstance here, and I'm excited to see how this plays out as Early College East goes against Cabarrus County Early Colleges.
Well, and remember, you get 3 attempts to score as many points as possible. There's multipliers on the board. There's also giant X's, where if you land on that, you get nothing. So high risk, high reward if you're trying to go for the home run swing. So we'll get to see how both of these awesome high schools go against each other. So we're going to go into our first match.
Let's go!
This will be really cool. You know what? You and I, we get to see some drones, man.
This is sick. This is sick.
There's Cab Tech, Cobras, Cobra Kai.
The Cobras ready to strike, just like the Panthers ready to pounce, man. It's lining up for us so beautifully. So you see the X's on the side, but you see the 2 X's as well. Now, those are pretty self-explanatory. You get twice as many points as the box you are in if you land on that X. And we've got Early College East coming in. A wee bit shy on that first opportunity, but that's the point of multiple tries, is it not? You live and you learn, you recode, you reapproach, and let's see how try number 2 goes out.
Yeah, they're going for that first zone. It's coming up just the tiniest bit short. So try number 3. Remember, this is kind of that distance marker. Some of that extra coding is about how far you want to make the drone go forward, and then if it is looking for key targets in different colors. But it looks like they land in the 0 zone 3 times. So the Cobras coming up here for Cab Tech.
Oh man, I want one of these drones. Who do I talk to get one of these? Can I, just for fun? Is that cool? Can we make that happen? Somebody? These are sick. I mean, and they clearly, they're working well. You can tell that this is processing code. This is reading opportunities. And Cabarrus County might win on this first round attempt. All they have to do is land. And they might not do so. Where are they at? Wow! 20 points on the board just between the 2 X's. So that, if I understand, is already a victory here in the matchup. 20-0.
It very much is. Now they're just flexing, but also this is a good measurement of how the rest of your code is able to go. I love that we have the second camera angle. Or how well you can
change a code.
I honestly thought that was going to go completely off the board.
Me too. Me too.
We're going past the 3rd blast zone, if you will, as they are looking for opportunities to get to the 2-time score.
There it is.
Oh, it did.
Oh. Yep.
Well, luckily their first one got 20, right?
Yeah, a bit of overcompensation there as they try to adjust and change the approach. Now let's see if they undershoot instead on this 3rd approach. Did they accidentally hit gold on that first try? Okay. It's a steady opportunity, but we're going really far.
Oh my goodness, is this going to be the 3rd one? Long shotting its way into the carpet.
Come on.
Oh my goodness! Almost.
What are the rules on that?
I think that ends up being
a 20.
Is that a 20? It's right underneath the green line.
I think that's 20.
Look, we'll get the point totals here in just a second. They were actually so close. In case you guys did not know, we saw all the 2 times. We saw the 10, the 20, and the 30. That dot at the top there, Septilence, is 75 points. They were about just like a half length of that drone from getting a 75.
Yeah, that is absurd. I mean, a solid victory there for Cabarrus County. I believe match number 2 will be Olympic High versus Kearns Academy. So we're going to be going in. Olympic got 1st in agricultural tech and hydroponics. They have Dempsdog, and we have Dempsdog from Kearns Academy, who took home the championship title in Fortnite. I believe I commentated part of that Unreal Fortnite Championship. So we've got Dempsdog coming in, double dipping here. The Rin of the STEM aspect here, going to be coming in with a double dip. I'm excited to see how this goes. Let's find out. Or one way to find out.
Does poppin' 90s in Fortnite translate into moving a drone forward?
Oh golly, yeah. I don't know, man. To be honest, I'd love to find some bridge to connect there, but coding and cranking 90s, 2 very different parts of the. Whoa. Okay. 10 points on the board for Olympic. They said, hey, let's just get something, right? Let's just get in there. Why is this still moving so much faster?
Look, they actually have the speed differential, how fast they want to be able to make all of the extra propellers go. So like, go forward, slap down. There is no doubt what they wanted to do. 30 points.
This is going to be over in 5 seconds. Oh my goodness, this is. I like that play style. They said get 10. Whoa. Hello?
Okay, outside angle.
Oh no.
Are they going to use the wall? Okay, they actually did not land. So this is round number 2.
Unfortunately, there's no style points to be won here. The flip is sick. The flip is cool, but you got to touch down on the board. Come on. Where we go? No, other way.
We're leaving.
Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. The flip is cool. I think, unfortunately, wrong round, wrong game to be in. The flip does not work out well. But I got to say, Olympic High's strategy there, they said, let's hit 10 3 times. Let's put it down on the board, easy peasy. They do it. They hit the cornhole style, the bag style, whatever part of the country you choose to be from. And they said, let's just get anything on the board. And golly, they did. What a win. What a win for Olympic.
Oh my gosh. Solid execution. And you know what? I love, even if they did not get anything from the side of Kearns Academy, they're like, all right, let's try the movement. Let's get this one off center. And we saw how that one went. So solid execution, fundamentally sound out of Olympic. But we're going into match number 3. It's the Knights out of Ardrey Kell versus NC Virtual Academy. And last but not least, this is a big matchup. We've got Becca the Destroyer that's leading Ardrey Kell on the STEM team. Last season, they actually did really well in the 3D modeling, but we'll see if they'll be able to kind of translate any of that into drones. Whereas NC
both coding
the Saturn as well as from NC Virtual Academy, they
NCVA Saturn, I believe.
That's actually a much better way to pronounce that. But they're coming back after winning drones and the game building last season.
So this is our top dog. This is huge. So this is a team that has one player with coding experience from the 3D modeling. Now, that's a different type of coding, but coding is there's a similar thread there regardless. Versus NCVA, our current kind of drone champions. So it's going to be jumping in. We're going to see 2 top dog teams, and I'm excited. I hope that we can see a little bit of strong action, maybe a couple more flips, but ideally some flips and landing on the board. I'd rather see landing on the board if I have to pick one, but both would be cool.
Just throwing it like a frisbee, seeing if you can. We'll go into our third matchup. So can Ardrey Kell up in the Bears of NCVA with one of my favorite planets in all of our solar system, Saturn.
Really?
It's a bit showy. It has the giant ring, but I love it.
Yeah.
And
I'm a Neptune guy personally. Oh wow.
Okay.
10 points off rip.
Trying to get that 20 as they go a little bit longer distance. So you see the same kind of execution that Olympic had. It seems that they have a down check to hover above the 20, but
nope.
Can't quite make it there.
Going for those 2 X's on the edges is insanely risky, and I'm not surprised to see no one doing it. Because if you're off by an inch, you fall off the board and you get nothing. So I think it's really important to know, just going for the middle of the board right now until we do this more and they get more familiar is the play. Now, NCVA is our big dog, our #1 seed, if you will. Let's see if they can pull this off. If they can prove their weight worth in gold.
I mean, they had 40 points to have to acquire, and this drone is hovering forever.
Only
Maybe the battery
10.
gave up. They do get the first one on 10.
The battery gives up.
just stay in the sky. Camera runs out of battery. Slow and steady might win the race. They're going to go a little bit deeper in their
they got to get 40.
They got to get over that 3rd green line.
They hit that dot. I'll freak out.
So they've got half the amount of points. They need the 3rd zone. Or
they got to double it. They got to double it. They have to get to that 2nd zone. Ooh, we're toddling a bit already. Oh, I see a drift to the left. Is that gonna matter?
But wait,
hold on.
Oh,
that's 20. That's a 20 for sure. That's 20. That's a tie.
That was a tie.
40. What does the tie mean? Hold on. Let me read the rules.
Everyone wins, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to find out. That one actually was kind of a little bit crazy. So both of the teams were able to go into it, and that's honestly huge for the side of Ardrey Kell, considering that it was a bit of FPV of drone racing moving into coding the drones. But what a way to be able to do it there.
Yeah, I mean a strong cleanup through and through. A big opportunity here. Drone rivalries, each one very fun, and we're supposed to have 3. But what if I said there was a 4th? Would you believe me?
I might.
What if I said that there may, instead of a 1v1, have been a 1v1v1v1?
How many ones?
That's 4 ones.
That's a lot of ones. So it's a 4th match, but with 4 ones?
With four participants, I believe. To my knowledge, it may be 4 matchups here. So,
okay.
Maybe. Okay. Let's jump in and see what's going on. Let's see who's playing. We've got a little bit of information. I believe there's no drone audio on this one. I think we got just a little bit of corruption that happens with videos. You all know that. But we've got a 1v1v1v1 coming up in just a minute. I don't know who the schools are, but I'll find out with you guys right now. Riverside High, first one on the board.
They're going to get 1 try apiece, and they are just chucking this one. You seen Tokyo Drift? Because they just threw that one out. Oh, my goodness. Esports Legends, they get their 1 try. Oh, short of the mark.
Yeah, and it's like a shot put situation. Like you said, everybody gets 1 chance. We're not doing the 3s here. Everybody gets 1 throw. We start really strong. 20 points on the board. We got another fast end up here, but it's only 10 on the board for Filippo Berry. Can Cedar Ridge tie or take the lead?
They need 20. Let's find out. They got to get to that 20. Don't park the car too early. Oh! Well, that's gonna do it. So our 1v1, v1, 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 v1. I got stuck in the coding. That's a coding loop. In case you guys didn't get the joke, that's okay. But that goes the right way. So congrats as we go through our massive.
And an important note. Sorry to interrupt. All 4 of those teams progress to the next round because we had the 1v1, v1, v1 due to like forfeits and we had to like shift the bracket and whatnot. But the way it lays out, all of those teams do what's the word? Progress. So that was almost a show match, if you will, but exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, and we also I think that we're able to see the updated brackets here in just a little bit as well. So we'll get to see that one forthcoming. And if you guys are curious about what is going to be going on next, what's going on next?
Next today or next for Drone Rivalry?
I mean, it could be Drone Rivalries. You know,
because next today is Marvel Rivals, a game we know and love. But next week in Drone Rivals, I believe it's Red Light, Green Light.
My favorite one.
Which will be cool, but I'm gonna let everybody know right now. Hail Monkey Man knows this. I am colorblind. Will that matter next week? Who knows? We're all gonna find out together. But it will be cool because I know how the game works. I've seen Squid Game. Okay, I know how Red Light, Green Light works. But it might
slightly
matter.
less weapons. Slightly less weapons in this.
Ideally less weapons.
Oh my gosh. So we will be playing some Red Light, Green Light. You guys will get to see exactly how that goes down, but it's going to be with the drones. And of course, they're going to try and figure out how they got to move through those programs. They're going to make the drone follow a stop and go pattern. They got to stop on red light, move on green light, and hopefully they have cameras that are better than your eyes. The fastest to pass the finish line ultimately will win. That's going to be what we go into our next STEM portion. And we got some more stuff later on this broadcast. But as we go through these rivalries, Septilence, we do go into some old comic book heroes as we get Marvel Rivals all primed up.
Yes, Marvel Rivals has my heart, as those heroes all do. But we're going to go ahead, throw it to a break. Marvel Rivals coming back at you in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The best players all over have come to the Raleigh Convention Center to compete for $120,000. It's gonna be awesome. There's multiple titles. Check it out.
It's the grand finals time!
I'm gonna show you behind the scenes of an esports event. So this is the mothership behind me. This is a mobile gaming rig. It's a whole production set. So follow along. We have some games going on right now. Right now we have Smash going on, and you can see there's multiple PCs set up, Valorant, Rocket League, 2K. This is where all our players took place. The entire tournament happened right on this rig. Let's go bother the casters for a second. All right, so right here is where the casters are. So if you guys ever wondered what it was like to be a caster, this is exactly what it's like. Here's the people that actually do all the work, make sure that you guys can see what's going on. Not easy. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on back here. Can't even explain it to you, not gonna try. That's the mothership. That's how you run an entire esports event on one rig. It's amazing. Definitely come check it out if you find it near you.
North Carolina, let me hear you!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the North Carolina Varsity STEM State Championship! Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here for the VESL State Championship. So much is on the line, and so many players have competed for their opportunity to be on the big stage.
Back to Jones, he can go inside. He's going to show you some movement.
Oh, he's getting caught with two hands.
Oh my God! He's not been checked. He finds it! All that remains in Reno are your VESL Valorant State Champions once again! And they're going to do something here right there. And wow, that was nascent. Something without having to end it for a knob.
Back in, now 92%. Misty, oh, so close, trying to just put up their guard. They're going to get uppercut, and that one's done. Flawless saves will take your grand finals.
Hello everyone, I'm Baka. I'm the manufacturing coach according to the STEM region of VESL.
There's coaches like you that are helping students be able to get through. So talk to me about what's going on behind us.
The students, they were told to use a CAD software, the same ones that a lot of engineers use in commercial companies nowadays, where they were tasked to build just a box card using the software and then print them out and then actually have them race later on today on the stream.
Launch! Oh man, the racing!
Feeling amazing. I spent so much time on this car learning about aerodynamics, and it's proving itself right now.
You just won your whole team game season.
It took a lot of time trying to figure out our schedule so we can come together and make the project.
What will stop you guys from winning states next year again?
I want to say nothing, but there will always be challenges in life, and we'll face it.
Farming, it's a major industry of North Carolina. All of these teams across North Carolina, they learned about the technology of precision farming to optimize the outputs of their soil.
Teams have been competing throughout the regular season by managing a startup, adapting to market changes, and diversifying their portfolio before advertising their products in a simulated auction event, which they will be doing today.
We are giving the win to Carver High School. They are getting the esports arena at their school.
The healthcare section was simply focusing on players' health. So we're gonna focus on dieting, routine, making sure your reaction time is good, and really go into like what you're putting into your body and how it affects our results.
You see that at the highest level of sport. To see that at like a high school level is amazing.
It's huge, and again, allowing kids to just be themselves and accomplish amazing things, and you know that they can make a career out of this stuff. So
VESL is giving people a safe space to enjoy their hobbies and to excel in their hobbies, and I do think that's something that should be taken note of by a lot of people. So good job, VESL.
Gaming is now cool, so it's pretty awesome.
STEM, is a big, broad, vast for itself, but if you put in gaming with the understanding of STEM, you know, you could do a whole lot with it.
I mean, these kids are incredible. I cannot take any credit for their skills. They play together, they strategize. It went from we're trying it out to CMS recognizing us as a varsity sport.
I got to catch them last season. I'm super surprised with the level at high school. We just saw Dixon there bringing it home. They were so good. My expectations are met every single time with the teams here at VESL.
It really allowed him to see the plateau of, oh yeah, I can do something. I can push myself.
All right, Ryan. Well, huge congratulations on winning this PC. Do you remember the specs on your current PC you have right now at home?
I think it was a 3070.
Oh, okay, so nice jump then. You're going to a 4070 Ti Super on this one. Not only did you win a PC today, you also won the tournament as well today as well. So that's amazing. Congratulations.
We never thought it would go as far as this. We thought maybe we'd get a few prizes, but it's just a fun thing to do.
During that game, I had to put my head down a couple of times. I was so nervous. And then the comeback was just amazing. I ended up in the back so I could jump up and down and go crazy like I love to do. I love it. I don't want it to end.
None of us were really that close before this, and honestly, like, I'd hang out with all of them together. Like, we all enjoy hanging out with each other, and yeah, it's kind of great to see how much we've all become friends over this.
Yeah, I think our team chemistry, like from the beginning, has just been better than any other team. We can trust ourselves more than any other team can.
They know it's not a single player sport. Whenever one of us loses, we think, okay, well, how are we gonna win the next match? And they get more excited when their teammates win than when they win, and I'm so proud of them.
Well, I mean, he's been playing since 2016. And to see this progress, I just wish the word would get out to all the high schools that are out there. If he would have learned a lot sooner, we don't know how far this would go.
So you guys just won $1,000. First of all, congratulations. What are you guys planning on doing with that?
I think a lot of it is some college stuff because, you know, graduating this year, so college is very expensive, so I'm gonna put towards college a lot of the time, I think.
Probably just gonna save it. That's probably all I'm gonna do. Or I might just get a new monitor because my monitor isn't the greatest.
I'm gonna use that money to try to pay off my debt, so that's probably it.
All right, cool. Some responsible actions going on from you guys.
So it was very exciting. The kids enjoyed it. It's the experience that they'll never forget, and that's what I was
wanting to give them.
Who do you got winning it all?
Winning it all? I mean, Green Hope. I mean, they won it last season.
If they win it again, I will get a VESL tattoo tattooed on me. So that will be my bet for the season.
That's a big bet, Risk.
I know.
Let's go!
All right, well, just got the tattoo done. Shout out to Green Hope for making it happen. You know, AK couldn't pull it off, so here we are. Looks pretty good. I'm actually happy Green Hope won because this is, it turned out really nice. We'll see what the next bet's gonna be. You know it's gonna happen at some point. See what next season entails.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to VESL Thursday Night Lights, week number 2. I'm still Sepulins, joined by Hell Monkey Man, and we are jumping into Marvel Rivals, a game we have talked about and hinted so much at. Here tonight, we're finally jumping in. We've got Ardrey Kell Purple versus Durham School of Arts Blue. So 2 colors that I can't see going head-to-head. Gonna be super excited to see how these teams fare here tonight. Both of them, no, I'm lying. Ardrey Kell 1-0, Durham 0-1.
And that's, again, it's our first couple of weeks. So if you're 0-1, still looking for a way to be able to bounce back, you have that great starter kit. Ardrey Kell obviously has a legacy program, and even with the players starting to graduate and move away, they're still finding some level of success. And this is a team that, through their Overwatch side of things from the previous states, they actually made it all the way into the regionals, didn't quite make the big state competition. And with how much you and I know that Marvel Rivals kind of parallels that, I wonder if we're going to see some similar players walking into today's matches.
I think there's a very high chance. I think I keep circling it back to Rin because she's relevant from today, but in the high school level in particular, we see a lot of students do that, especially in similarly themed games like this. From Overwatch to Marvel Rivals, it's first person to third person, but they are both hero-based shooters. So there is that similarity of how to play the game. They've got similar roles, tank versus vanguard, duelist on both sides, and then strategist versus support, but the play styles all mirror each other to a certain extent. Now, something that I actually should have asked production and did not ask about, are the Human Torch and the Thing live? Are they playable?
Because that was play tested, right? Like that was purely being play tested behind. I don't know if that has gone live yet. Okay, so they are usable. Okay, so that means we can have full.
Yeah, on the 21st. Yeah, so the 21st they became full releasable. I don't think there's any kind of ban for new characters unless you go for the ban. But from what I have seen online, they're both quite strong. Now, is the Thing stronger than like our Venoms and our Groots? I think that's a bit negotiable, but the Human Torch, no pun intended, is lighting up that duelist role. I mean, he has been very powerful. He's got the flying ability. He's got that like fire lineup, like box situation that is super strong as well. I don't know the name of his abilities yet. He's brand new, coming some slack. But regardless, I think we could be seeing some Human Torch today. Honestly, I just kind of hope we are.
I also wonder if they're going to have the full team ups that come out of that as well, because you do have the Fantastic Four in the team up between themselves. They have Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. See if any of that comes up. Some of the ones that I've seen pretty consistently in just regular play is you get Squirrel Girl and Spider-Man together, and then you've also seen Spider-Man with Venom. So get to see all that goes. But it is going to be our Marvel Rivals matchup today. Again, if you have not seen the rotation of how this works, we'll be going into, I believe, Domination to start things off.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I think we're starting off at Isgard Royal Palace, one of my favorite maps in the game, and I'm also just a sucker for King of the Hill play styles. It's my favorite map type in pretty much any game. We've got some hovers here, early Cloak and Dagger on both sides, Magneto on both sides. Let's see who the bands might be. Uh-oh, look at the bottom of the screen, the Thing. So here's the Thing. He's getting banned. But Bucky Barnes, he's out and gone as well. These secondary bans in the hands. Could be Wolverine on both sides. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I feel like it is going to be across the board. Ain't nobody want to see a Wolverine. That just comes out.
Want that guy.
Yep. No Wolverine boy. No one's gonna get the fastball special. None of that's gonna be happening. But I do see some early hovers onto the Invisible Woman. That's gonna be on both sides. I was actually wondering about that Black Panther because Hela is actually very, very strong. You get the Cloak and Dagger that you and I have now really become a fan club of. I feel like everyone is. And otherwise, you do have the lock-in for the Magneto as well as for the Groot off of that Squirrel Girl. Cinder's kind of in and out of that idea. But either way, you do have the team up that will come out for Moon Knight as well as the Cloak and Dagger. So that'll be interesting.
And I do want to note as well that we are seeing Liv is slow on the Cloak and Dagger. Now, Liv is a substitute for the side of Durham School of Art. So coming in with an 0-1 record is tough. Coming in with an 0-1 record and a sub on the team, that can be even harder. So I definitely think Durham is going to be our underdog going into this matchup. And I think Ardrey Kell coming in, they might try to take advantage of that. Now, I don't know if Ardrey Kell knows that they have a sub or not. But regardless, with Ardrey Kell looking at this double tank, double duelist, double strategist, circumstance, double vanguard, excuse me, I think that's a really strong combination. We've got Cloak and Dagger on both sides. But no, excuse me, we only see... No, okay, I understand. Invisible Woman and Cloak and Dagger on both sides.
You also have Scarlet Witch, who has been so strong. They're going to be kind of figuring this one out, how they want to be able to take this, and you are using the Doctor Strange portal to give themselves a long distance jump directly onto site. So I love that they use that immediately, and they're going to have the shield guard to be able to get themselves into this early team fight. So as you kind of reposition, I want to see how this Storm really works out because there's such a great zoning DPS, but it feels like we're getting pushed back.
Yeah, Storm at one point, I think, had a 65% win rate in the highest ranks in the game. Highest win rate that any character in this game has seen thus far. I believe she's been changed a wee bit, so it's gone down a little. But regardless, Storm, very powerful. Those flying characters, something a lot of people have to get used to. You don't see much of those at all in other hero-based shooters, but they seem to continue growing in popularity. You've got Storm, you've got Iron Man, you've got Human Torch as well, as he's now made an appearance all the same. Nobody onto the point quite yet, except Durham has snuck out that early point cap. First elimination in favor of Ardrey Kell. They are able to find the elimination onto the Magneto, a power player tank going to be missing. Could help Ardrey Kell turn things around. They also stole the point out from underneath Durham.
As soon as you lose your Moon Knight, just feels like there's no leg to stand on, really. So everything just is kind of standing tall as we get some percentage building, but it's taken up by the Knights as they flipped it right back around. They were using those walls from off of the Groot so effectively, and this is actually a map that's kind of susceptible to a few choke points, and if you don't get the enough damage, and that you talked about how you those aerial DPS really does allow them to kind of get over the top of that, but it's about keeping that time on target.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's just about keeping your finger on the pulse, so to speak, trying to keep yourself alive in this scenario. And already, I accidentally just tabbed out. Give me 1 sec. The action is going to be happening here. Ardrey Kell looking for the opportunity to strike, but losing their Groot. Oh no, it's still a 1-1 win and fell off the map, I feel. Going to be taken down. A great Cloak and Dagger ultimate comes out. A lot of damage on the board. Boost able to find the elimination on to Durham. 3 players already missing at Ardrey Kell. They get close to losing it, but they are not going to give it up easily. They will not go quiet into that good night. The Eye of Agamotto makes an appearance from Durham, and I think it is actually going to be enough. An incredibly risky ultimate, but high risk, high reward. Durham not going down yet.
And that's with the quad kill to be able to get back into it. That's huge. You did have a great zoning play as well off of the Eternal Bond from that Cloak and Dagger. Now trying to just see if they can keep all of this extra pressure up. They did fall behind in that 60% now, but they're building up to about a quarter all their own. Feels like this has become a distance battle at times, but some key ultimates might be able to get back onto the site. Just poking and prodding from off of this Gila. See if they can get back through it, but they're suffering at the choke points here, Substance.
They are suffering at the choke points here. And I mean, that's exactly how this game's built to be played, right? Oh, great. Invisible Woman ultimate comes up, actually disrupts the Hela approach. That ultimate flank from a distance, but when a flying, talking nuke comes into your face, there's not a lot of places to run. You have to try and get out of the way, not able to find it. Groot onto one, Scarlet Witch onto another, Storm comes in, a hurricane, a brewing, and it finds 1, it might find 2, it may even find 4, as it does. A beautiful 4K from Durham. They start rough, but now after 2 multi-kills in a row, they've come very close to tying up Ardrey Kell, if not taking the lead.
The Omega Hurricane, it comes for everyone. It does not care, and I like that they're actually using the overall kind of the regrowth from these columns, making sure they have a sight line so they can take a high ground after taking this point. Durham, the Bulldogs, they've been able to build up to 77%. This is going to come down to one last final fight to be able to get this first point.
Moon Knight, one of my friend's favorite characters in the game, making an appearance here. Just such a unique pick. He's the type of character where you've got to play him well, or you're not really playing him at all, and I think we are definitely seeing that right now. Moon Knight ultimate comes out, a lot of damage to be dealt. Durham looking to sneak out a win here. One elimination already on their side. Magneto is going to get Fortnited into the corner there. A couple of walls up from Groot. Overtime has already begun ticking, and things start rough for Durham, but they really may be able to sneak out of this. One player down, Audrey Kell onto a storm swap of their own. The Cloak and Dagger ultimate makes an appearance. The invisibility, the invincibility, able to do so, but now 2. Let's make it 3 of Audrey Kell have been dismissed, and Durham Blue, I believe, have guaranteed their first stage win here on the Isgard.
It was an all-in play to try and get all of that extra CC from the Groot. They utilized that. It was a great overall prison that they kind of caught them, not just between the walls, but also within the strangling prison. But they just didn't turn it into eliminations, and that's unfortunate because as they had them really kind of sequestered to just the left half of that of point, you thought, okay, we've been able to really kind of funnel them. That wasn't the case. It was just Groot playing around with some of his play things, and they were in the form of bodies eventually dropping. So Durham, see if you know, the School of the Arts, Blue and the Bulldogs might be able to win our first map here for Domination.
And I think there's something so fascinating about Marvel Rivals and in these King of the Hill style maps in Domination where you carry over your ultimate percentage into the following round. Now that makes things interesting because in a game like Overwatch, you don't. So you pop every ultimate in that final fight to try and win it. But now you have to kind of put your finger on one side of the scale or the other on which regard you'd like to open that door, right? Do you save your ult for the next round, try to start stronger, or do you use your ult now, try to win this round and put yourself in the winner's seat going into that second round? There's this weird infinity, almost this paradox of what the right choice is, and I think the right choice is always the one you choose to make, as long as you do it with intention. Doctor Strange portal goes up, the team gonna be diving in quickly, a great shield out on the door. I think this Magneto ult comes out early.
I very much think so too, and they actually.
Oh, he comes back out.
Okay. He said, "No, I don't want to be there." Oh wait, I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean it. I was just hitting the space bar, and now he's got the meteor coming down. Can he hit the back line? It's a bit too telegraphed, but the Mega Hurricane. They're talking about the ultimates. They come out to play very early.
Now I don't love that we use 2 though. I don't want to use any more than that. I think we could have won that fight with just the Mega Hurricane. Maybe that Magneto ult in the pocket, but Storm able to find 2, 3 with the help of Doctor Strange on the side of Durham, and now Majin is looking to play that Moon Knight again. Just putting that Onk down on sight creates so much devastation, so much opportunity to strike. Gets healed back up, finds a free high ground, gets to play behind 2 Vanguards on their team.
Giant healing wall to be able to boost all that extra.
I love the heal wall.
It's so good. Look, Cloak and Dagger is like the best. They can't, unless you're playing Loki. Shout out to my Loki game. We're not going to be seeing that. Well, actually, we do right now.
I was going to say, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing that. I haven't played the skin, okay? So I got to pick that up from the battle pass. Either way, if you can be able to teleport through that, it really kind of works out. This Magneto feels like it's been in kind of Whiff City at times. You see if Durham is able to get themselves back on the site. They're actually seeing a few fall, and this will be an opportunity for the Knights to be able to take this.
You heard Ghost's feeling. He heard you and immediately just found 3. So I mean, that's all he needed. Apparently, a little bit of motivation there. But I agree. I think we've seen Ghost going in, getting into the back line, but really struggling, similar to Groot, to follow through on those eliminations. Right, looking for those opportunities, getting the damage and getting the kills. Those are 2 different stories. So Audrey Kell, they do finally find some point culmination of their own. They should get around 30-ish% before Durham really gets the opportunity to strike back. So we'll get very close into a tied game here on the second stage. But Durham, 3, nearly 4 ultimates in the pocket versus 3, nearly 5 in the pocket of Audrey Kell. The question is going to be who pops them first. I'd love to see this Moon Knight ultimate come out from Mahin here. I mean, look at it, they're all piled up. The Eye of Agamotto freezes everybody right there on point, and there's one elimination already with that Moon Knight ultimate. A second one is going to be coming out of the pocket as well. Audrey Kell down once. Cloak and Dagger ult comes out late, but it comes out early enough to save the day. 4 players down on the side of Durham. 5 live. The sub, the only remaining player, just getting bullied out of existence. You gotta die quick, though. You want to respawn with the team as Audrey Kell is now halfway done, capping the second point of Domination.
It felt like Audrey Kell had actually hidden their Punisher well behind a whole stack of cards. You did not even get to see that. They were really building up into that next ultimate, and then when Final Judgment comes through, oh boy, yeah, that's a lot of bullets. That's a huge stream to have to deal with. So great use of the Eternal Bond as well from the Cloak and Dagger to really completely zone them. You saw that happening with the Groot and his walls, saying you get to go down this lane. It looks like TSA at the airport, and you're gonna be flying off this site.
Yeah, phones, laptops, any electronics out of your pockets because you are flying out of here just like this. But your flight might get canceled when a mega hurricane comes into the mix. One player already going to be taken down. A hurricane eliminating somebody from Archery Cal. It looks like it's going to be a bit of domination. Now some eternal bond for the Cloak and Dagger does emerge once more into the fray. We see Cinders looking to take down that group wall, trying to get back into the mix here. Grapples up, looks for the shot, but just can't find it. Scares them off point regardless with only 8 seconds left. Is Archery Cal going to take us to our first stage 3 of domination in this VESL season?
98%. Is anyone on site? They actually have a chance. They force it into overtime, so the meter will come through. They're going to use that meter. My goodness, massive KO. They're going to try and do it again. He is chucking planet-sized projectiles and then taking them down left and right. The Bulldog's not out of this fight yet.
I mean, it is tough. Every time we see Ghost do well, we see the other Magneto come through, find that elimination, find that damage early on, but unfortunately, Durham just not standing on point like they needed to. Not enough players left alive to make that magic happen, and now Durham gonna have to try and answer back in stage 3. We're tied up 1-1.
I want to see what these overall ultimate meters look like because you got to see it played early. It felt like, you know, they kind of went in just to look at things. All right, so you do have at least a couple that you could walk in with. You actually already have the Cloak and Dagger ready to go. So it'll be neat to maybe pop up with. You do have the Prison kind of back-pocketed 15% off of their group. Really haven't flexed away. Cinders has moved away from the Punisher, though, and we're going to be seeing some magic. Give me Big Sword all day, please and thank you.
Oh, magic. I mean, feast or famine, if I've ever seen it in a hero shooter character. You've got to be putting up numbers when you play magic, or you're just not playing her at all. I hate to say it, but that really is the case in a scenario like this. This is going to be fascinating. It's a high-risk, high-reward scenario, especially when you know there's a storm on the other side. Liv swapping to Luna Snow, one of my favorite characters in the game. But Cloak and Dagger from Fewer Porpoise continuing to stick out as one of my favorite heroes of all time. Cloak and Dagger are one of the coolest heroes Marvel's has ever come up with. If you aren't familiar, I highly encourage everybody to go check them out. They're one of my favorites.
What do you plug that real quick? The trade over to Namor as well, because seeing the
Namor's so strong. Underrated. Underrated.
Flexing onto this upper platform as well. Might be able to get some of that going. But again, if you're on Magic, you're going to go in, you're going to go out, you're going to see whether you can get off of your overall play. But now as they use the Groot to really zone them back, they're being just kicked into the corner.
I want to see this ultimate come out early here. So much damage already done. The cleanup would be almost guaranteed, but they choose to hold on to a Tantrum. Tantrum not going to be able to make that action happen yet. Black Panther in, looks for that double dash to come through and finds a lot of damage, but unfortunately no elimination, which means none of his cooldowns are reduced or refreshed. Fewer Porpoise is looking really good here. Nobody diving the back line, allowing this Cloak to get hyper aggressive. This Dagger to open up the door here. Oh, come on, man. Just pop the ult. They're standing in front of you. It's so free. Oh, my God.
Plant the seed of doubt. That's what you're made to do. You are Groot. Can they get back to it? Using the teleport, and they are continuing to just let them feel the eyes of Asgard upon them.
A lot of damage dealt here. We are going to see Audrey Kell taking the lead once more. Mr. Fluffles does find an elimination, but they're going to have to find 2 or 3 more to really turn this around. And oh my goodness, I'm so locked in on the fight. I didn't even notice Audrey Kell has found 40% on the board already.
Goodness gracious, they are making this an expressway. They lost that first one off of the Bulldogs. It was a tight contest. You had that high-low situation off of the first site, but now since then, they've been really making it work. You got the Loki, you have a deep dive composition, really going in for the melee, especially with the Black Panther and the Magic. It's keeping direct pressure where no one is able to really kind of work around and have any of these long lurks or flanks to present an opportunity for some big ults. Ready for big ults.
Oh, the Namor ult, speaking of, does come in. Some great stuns on the board here, but no eliminations on the board quite yet. Durham looking to use everything they've got and already still losing too. Hail Monkey Man, I think this map might just be over here. We've got the Hurricane in the back line, but at this point, it just feels insult to injury. You'd have to find a full 6K to try and turn this around.
Yeah, that's now the 3rd time that we've seen the Omega Hurricane come through, and it's the 2nd time in a row that we've seen it not really get any value. It does a lot whenever you have a lot of maybe half to low hero HP bars, but if you also have a great amount of HP that's already protecting you, it's kind of like a done and dusted situation. High 90 percentile, AK is trying to be able to clean this one up. You do have the Luna Snow ultimate, trying to keep everyone topped up. They can't even buy for damage. You're gonna have the Eternal Bond. They're making it so difficult to live.
The difficulty to live here, almost impossible. You're just not able to play under the pressure. Audrey Kell now with a 4-6 advantage. Now we do see Boost get 1, be able to clean up a little bit of action here, but finally, just when the swan song was being ready to be sung, Durham snaps back to life, losing only 1 player in the process. No ultimates in their pocket, though. Got to try to farm those up quick.
They're humming
close to 1. Basically got 1.
Definitely humming a tune. A bar or so has been said, and we've seen overtimes come back. We got the Loki ultimate as they have the ability to be the god of mischief, and they're going to be copycatting. Oh, okay, that's exactly what they wrap into. So the eternal bond off of the god of mischief will be coming up, and they're going to make it so difficult to be on site.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, this Cloak and Dagger ultimate going to choke up the entire site. I believe the Invisible Woman ultimate from Durham should be happening. Yep, right now, the Eye of Agamotto in the pocket. All the same, 2 eliminations already in favor of Durham, but 3 ultimates committed. It's going to be a tough circumstance to turn around. There's only 2 ultimates committed. It's going to be a tough circumstance to turn around regardless. This Groot ult still in their pocket, by the way. This is not a second one. This is the same ultimate from the beginning of the map.
They don't want to use it. They're going to save it. They're going to bring
it to clearly. What am I talking about?
Yeah, bring it after the map, you know, when you need it the most. Overtime. Yeah. Tripping. Feels like the Bulldogs got to get there. They're going to do so in the form of another hurricane. And so they will at least be able to keep this overtime going, but everyone's all healed up.
So much damage, but you just cannot get the follow-up there. I think Storm is going to be taken down. Cloudier skies no longer ahead of us as Ardrikel. They lose stage 1. They improvise, they adapt, and they overcome in stages 2 and 3 to put themselves up 1-0 in this best-of-3 series. If they win map number 2, they'll put a nice little bow up on top and send us straight to Brawlhalla. But let's see what map number 2 entails.
That's true. And I do actually love that throne room out of all 3 sites that you get to see for this overall domination map. That's actually one of my favorite sites for this because it feels like you're just kind of stuck into all right, just wave against wave when you get to Bifrost. It's all right. You have this single point. There's really not a lot of flanking. It's pretty headlong, headstrong, straight into the fight. But I mean, look at the overall output. Tanks obviously showing up, but I feel like the biggest play obviously was from the kind of the switch up that we got out of Cinders. Really just kind of keeping things clean.
Cinders really, I mean, like I said, it was high risk, high reward, and clearly they knew the risk they were taking because they chose to take it and overperform in that position. It was a really strong showing from Cinders on the Magic. 17 elims going down only 6 times. So a really strong performance across the board there. And going into map number 2, will the Magic persist, or is that more of a King of the Hill domination specialty? Only one way to find out. I also want to note, I was very critical of Terran Maroon's playstyle and the lack there of ultimates. They did have almost 30 eliminations, most in lobby by near double. So perhaps I'm not the Groot specialist I thought I was. Just kidding. I'm certainly no Groot specialist. But I do think anybody holding on to their ultimates that long, there's always that note of use it, you will re-get it. That's the point of the ultimate. You want to use it. You want to be able to get more value with it. You want to be able to get more ultimates going into later fights. Sitting on your ult like that can be devastating. It wasn't this time for Ardrikel, but that doesn't mean it never will be.
That's exactly why I ended up with at least 400 wheels of cheese. You know, that's
real.
Skyrim has taught me save everything for later. You're totally gonna need it. Wink, wink. I can't actually wink, so you're getting the words.
You can't wink.
Attempt. I can't. Look, I try.
That's really not bad, honestly.
Close.
That's better than I thought you were going to wink, to be honest. I thought it was going to be disastrous. That's not terrible. You could do worse.
I have an emoji that I actually need to send you. It is someone animating me attempting to wink. It's real. Yeah, it's tough out here. Look, I never developed those muscles.
I can wink with both eyes. So maybe I'll do it for both of us.
Wait, isn't that just called blinking?
No, individually I mean. I can also blink. I can wink with both eyes at the same time also. That is true.
Okay.
That is true. But I can blink individually. I have individual control of my eyelids, apparently, more than some people. Not naming any names.
It's an OP mechanic. I didn't know you were working on. I didn't know you were supposed to work on that. Look, I started snapping my fingers like way late game. Everyone was like, can you whistle? I was like, I attempted so many things.
Wait, can you snap though?
I can now. Look, okay.
Which finger do you snap with?
I'm gonna show. Okay, so I use ring fingers on both sides, which is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, like the. However,
that's a strong snap though. That's a strong snap.
I'm gonna show you what I used to do. I used to so you can finger hook your claws like this, right?
You play at home.
Go to your thumb, yeah, and you.
I'm not doing that. That seems scary. I'm actually not going to do that.
It's just your knuckles clacking together. It's just
that is frightening.
But you can pretend that you're snapping your knuckles like out of like sync or something, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
I snap with my middle fingers, which is also slightly unusual. But
no. I've heard that's the most powerful one. Like,
yeah, that's why I do it. It's the strongest option you can snap. You get the most friction with your finger. I don't know if those are even coming through. I might be getting noise gated, but. I don't know.
I actually can't do it with my middle finger because it broke a long time ago.
Wow.
With this one. Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
That is contact sports. So thank goodness everyone's playing esports, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I play esports and I've broken all 10 of my fingers at least one time. Now, were some of those from contact sports? Yes. Do I have a bone disease that makes me more prone to breaking my bones? Also, yes. But the point is I have broken all 10 of my fingers before, and that is a true story. That often goes into my 2 truths and a lie, is that I have broken all 10 of my fingers at least one time.
That's a heck of a high five. That
if you high five me too hard, you might have to take me to the hospital. Just we'll keep that in mind for the future. You never know what's gonna happen. But we also don't know what's gonna happen in this upcoming map, right? I think it's going to be. It was a really strong start against Ardrikel. They said, hold on, wait a minute. And they really started to unlock that true potential. They're able to win stage number 2, stage number 3 in a somewhat dominant fashion, 100 to I think 14 on the board. So a really good showing in stage 3. Is that them just getting warmed up? Is that them getting a little lucky? Is that them banning the right people against Durham? Who knows? We'll have to see A, if the bans stay the same, and B, if they don't, did the first ones matter?
That's very true. And we're also going to be going over to our convergence map. It's going to be on Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. So we've got the Hall of Jalia that will be coming up soon. So remind me, recount with me. Obviously, we know Wolverine was taken out of the way. We know the Thing was taken out. So there was one extra ban, right? I believe
Bucky Barnes was banned.
Bucky Barnes. That was the other
Soldier, my boy Bucky.
So what do you prioritize in terms of? Let's kind of start from the top down, either into ban or to pick from the Vanguard position, because obviously with that higher health pool and the way that they can still get a lot of extra damage output, what do you prioritize either taking away or making sure to commit to?
So do you mean when I go into comp or when I'm in a scenario like
for these teams, or maybe
because the answer is different. The answer is very different. If I'm going into a comp game, I'm banning Venom 100% of the time because he's incredibly frustrating. He's very strong. He has a lot of solo potential. But when you're in a team performance like this and you're replaying the same team, you see who they play well. I'm taking Groot off the board in record time. I think there's a very clear just divergence of this Groot player. Very talented, one of the higher ranked players on the team to my knowledge, really knows how to play Groot well. I mentioned that before we even saw them lock in agents today. I ban Venom and I ban Groot. Those are the 2 that I shoot for if I'm able to do so. But I also think, and this is more of a hypothetical than anything, Cinders on the Magic was good. I'm not sure if we're going to see it again. But if you think we are, clipping those wings will not hurt. But that's still my tertiary choice. Let me start from the beginning once more. I think you take Groot out of the way. Second choice, Cloak and Dagger. I think those are the 2 big dogs we need to see fall. Porpoise was strong. MVP on strategist strong. I mean, it is a strong performance to come out, to play Cloak and Dagger that well, to play both of them, as well as the snippets we saw showed us this player is capable of doing. I think taking Porpoise down a peg makes it harder to play Groot well, so maybe you start there.
Oh man, that actually, because that ends up hurting yourself since you have your own and then you have it across the board. So basically force this to have to reset because you might think that a Wolverine also will get it taken away. So just really dissect and just devolve both of these teams. So get rid of Cloak and Dagger, get rid of Groot perhaps, and then you might see them flex into an Adam Warlock, or do you go to Mantis from there?
Mantis. I think it's Mantis. I think so. The top 3 supports in the game, to me, in my humble opinion, are Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, and Mantis. And I don't think that's in order. It's not that they're in that top 3, but I think it depends on your play style. I think they're all very strong. And I believe Mantis has one of the higher healing outputs in the game. Luna Snow, I believe, has the highest, but that doesn't necessarily make her the best. I do think she's very strong. Close 4, if not just included in that. All 4 of them are very strong. But I think going in, Cloak and Dagger, it's interesting, and there's only one way I can think to explain this. It's like when Cloud has been stabbed by Sephiroth, and he can't reach him, so he pulls himself further down on the blade to get within striking range. And you almost have to do that. You almost have to you almost have to push yourself further onto the blade, take your own Cloak and Dagger out of the way to take down the opposing team's strongest player. And it's such a risk. But with Luna Snow and Mantis and Invisible Woman on the other side of the board, there are other options for you to play.
That's very true. I feel like there's also the ability to have a kind of a better team up from that as well, because Mantis gets the cocoon from who has to be present on the board for them to be able to get that team.
Quiz.
I know, me too. I asked and I was like, wait a minute, who needs to be here? Wait,
see, I talk a big game about Mantis. I don't actually play her, so
it actually is oh my goodness, Star-Lord. So that would be kind of a flex away. So if you go away from magic, maybe you bring in kind of tracer gameplay, if you will, from that. So maybe you kind of turn that around. But we got, I don't think it's hyper necessary unless they decide to really kind of, it's mutually assured destruction off of a ban from a Cloak and Dagger. If you kind of bring that onto the table.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think there's just a little bit of uncertainty, instability, if you will, in kind of the circumstance of this is why I'm torn on the concept of bans, because you have to outplay your opponent's outperformance. Like, you have to know who they're going to ban, you have to know who they're going to play, and you have to know who they're going to play if you ban the person they're going to play. And it's this infinite, like, flow chart of what's going on around you all the time. And it's difficult. And it's why I'm glad that when I played collegiate Overwatch, bans were not even a concept for any game except League of Legends, because this adds such a new layer to competing that really, I think, gets quite confusing.
Yeah, that's true, and it becomes cerebral at that moment. But I also understand why it was done into the early inception of Marvel Rivals, because since we have seen it be successful from, like, you know, legacy other esports titles, and then bringing it over to Marvel, it's like, okay, not much has to be reinvented. And it also presents another position that is sometimes super underrated, and it's the strategy coach that goes into each of these kind of, all right, what do we want to have for this execution meta? How do we want to be able to play this? Because if you've got guys have never seen or talked to any of those basically strategists as they have their open book, they're talking about it. Like, all right, who do you want to be able to get into this and for these bands? So it makes a lot of sense, and I like that they've actually still allowed that depth at the very beginning, maybe thinking that it will become a little easier as the overall hero pool kind of expands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm checking this out now that Fewer Porpoise, the player that I was talking about, tied for highest rank in the game. Grandmaster 3 on the board. So I think that's really interesting, just all things considered. They're not going to be able to, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to be able to outban them. I think that's a really tough scenario. I think when you're kind of a GM3, there's 2 on the side of Ardrey Kell. There's 1 on the opposing side. So I think there is a bit of instability, a bit of difficulty here coming through. So I don't know. I think we just need to see what they're going to do, and then I'll give my opinion on it. Because I've been talking in a big circle, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But I just think there's so many parts of the flowchart to acknowledge about banning. It's every time I make a point, there's 2 more to be made.
We'll see how that one ultimately goes. They get rid of Bucky. Look, you told me that you didn't like Bucky, so maybe they don't like Bucky.
I love his ultimate though. I love it. Oh, again! I think it's so fun. But I get it. Banning the Thing again. It just makes me think that maybe they know someone plays each of those. Ooh.
They said no Black Panther. They said no. Get out of here.
They said, sorry, T'Challa, you are going to have to wait till match 3.
Doctor Strange, though?
I think that, that's... Doctor Strange hurts. Doctor Strange hurts for sure, because that's all FF played last time.
Okay.
So both teams losing a character they clearly brought to the table last time.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
And that's what happens when you walk between the first map and into the second. You see the tendency. So the Groot will still be here, but then they're flexing over to the Magneto. They're going to be, actually, they're going to have a Groot on both sides. It's going to be the same Vanguard on both sides.
Oh, wait, check this out. The Wolverine is back on the side of FF, and neither team banning Cloak and Dagger could possibly be a mistake from our friends on the attacking side here. Maybe it's also who Liv can only play. Who knows, right? Maybe they really needed to keep Cloak and Dagger in the mix, but I think it really could have been beneficial to see if that could work the way you want to. It's all hypotheticals. It's all the name of the game. And as we jump into the mix-up here, I'm hoping that the benefit can behoove our friends who have chosen not to say goodbye to Cloak and Dagger.
Stay strong.
Can Durham, School of the Arts Blue, be able to find their way through? They have to get us all the way to a convoy map off of this hybrid with convergence. They got to be able to get that side, then they got to move the objective forward. Got to see how this one all kind of manifests. We still get Majin off of the Moon Knight, so that's kind of big to see consistently. Cinders, they've actually flexed away. They've moved to Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, I love Mr. Fantastic. I don't really like playing him, but I like watching him. I think he's a lot of fun to see brought to the table in a circumstance like this. Squirrel Girl as well. Now that's a character I'm playing quite often. Boost hero, a hero after my own heart. The action comes out early, though. We see Ardrey Kell looking for an opportunity to play strong defense. They could go for a full hold here on Durham. They could really speed up the rest of this series. But FF in the backline on the Wolverine, dives onto the Groot. Not the best target focus there, if I'm being honest. You want to go for somebody a little bit squishier, one of the supports, maybe your opposing duelist, but the strategist all still standing. Groot wall up, damage being done, but everybody's still standing until Mr. Fluffles, the highest ranked player on the team of Durham, has been taken out of the equation. Moon Knight not far behind.
it's going to be Audrey Kell that's really going to find this defense to be a bit steadier and easier as they consistently just kind of push the Bulldogs back. And yeah, that target acquisition off of the Wolverine, maybe you're just trying to kind of get some extra percentage built into your last stand, and you know that they're going to be basically meat shielding through it. Squirrel Girl is such a difficult DPS to basically unseat. They have such maneuverability as well as a ton of damage that can come out, and they really just are a thorn in the side, if you will.
Yeah, and this is something that I talk about pretty often, but I do think it's very true to consider. Is Squirrel Girl, she's mimicking a character, or she's a similar playstyle to a character known as Junkrat from Overwatch, who plays projectiles. You bounce the projectiles off the wall to deal your damage to your opponents. It's a lot harder to do that when every interactable in the game is destructible. You don't get to play as coy, as in the corner. You have to go into the mix of it, just like Boost is right now. You have to get up close and personal with a character that doesn't have a lot of HP, and it seems like Boost is doing it quite well thus far. Oh, the ultimate in hand, Majin not able to make it out, but it's going to be a 1-1 trade. FF has found an elimination of their own onto this Groot. Loki not far behind, and Ghost has now fallen as well. Durham, I think with Calyx here on the Groot, it's one into another. I think it may have actually cracked this point open. A very late ultimate from Morpheus going to be answered out by an ultimate from Wan and on the opposing side. Double support available on both sides. I kind of want to see FF pop this Wolverine hold, but they may not have to.
Yeah, no, that is exactly the survivability that you get out of Wolverine, and they're going to use that fist to be able to at least get some extra damage, and they're trying to just get this side busted open. The first third, it seems like they're going to be able to do it as they wall them off at least from one choke point. They're going to force them to go to high ground, and FF feels like they banned that there was a ban onto Wolverine for a reason. Really has been chopping down not just the back line, but as well as those front side tanks.
Pressure mounting for our teams here. It's Wolverine ult in the pocket could work absolutely huge for FF if they choose to take it.
Ooh, hanging around this statue, they're going to use that last stand and get all that extra HP. They're going to be healed up. Maybe just a threat on the top of the stairs. They're going to go flying in.
There we go.
Oh my goodness, getting lit up.
That's exactly what I wanted to see at a time like this. A beautiful ultimate flying through the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a Marvel character, actually. It's Wolverine in the back line. 4 minutes on the clock, 50 meters on the board, but only 2 ultimates to their name. Nearly 5 on the side of Audrey Kell.
Yeah, they've actually got what the God of Mischief might be able to combine that really well. Oh, you're gonna use the Pharaoh Leap again just to slash through this defense. And that's exactly what they want FF to do, to be able to expand so much of the space.
Show me the Meteor Magneto. Let's see it happen. Mr. Fluffles could really open the door of this fight if they choose to take it, but instead it's Audrey Kell bringing out their own Meteor. 4 eliminations in the pocket. Cinders with some great dash and slash of their own. Gets through, breaks the Ankh, but cannot show. Oh, no, will continue chasing Wolverine. FF dashes into the health pack. Cinders says, you know what, man, fine. I didn't want to kill you anyway. Goes back to the rest of the team, but that's a huge stall potential for Audrey Kell. They finally slowed Durham out of this fight.
Finally able to just kind of push them back. It was FF that was definitely finding amazing distance to get themselves that far in the first place, and maybe that's, you know, going to be something that comes up through. You have a couple of big ultimates. You have the Magneto Meteor as well as Invisible Woman, so maybe that comes up. Actually, sorry, no, that is now online, but you also have the Cloak and Dagger. They're going to be able to use that Eternal Bond to do something, and now they're doing even more. That's from the side of Audrey Kell as the Knights are taking the fight back to them.
The Knights are taking the fight straight to their opponents here on the card, looking for an opportunity to find a little bit of damage out the back here, but oh, the Squirrel Stampede, your favorite ultimate in the game, Hail Monkey Man. It's able to find not 1, but 2, maybe turn into a 3rd with the help of that Groot. Audrey Kell, once again, they win the fight, but at what cost? A lot of utility, overextended. However, 3 ultimates left, so it's not the end of the world.
I thought for a moment that Kim rather was actually just pretending to be one of their clones. Just off the look, stand in the corner like, don't shoot me, please. Don't look at me. But looking at this this timer at this point, it's 1:40 of 100 seconds. So you have to be able to make it to that second checkpoint if you want to unlock another quad of minutes. This high ground right now, they're going to throw the big discus on the massive sword, and they're ready to take that fight. Seeing Cinders actually stick it onto this magic is actually kind of pivotal.
I agree. Cinders playing this magic, it started off as what felt like kind of a panic trick in the moment, but clearly they have shown us this is a character that they have a lot of utility in the back pocket of. They've played a lot of magic, and it's really helping make or break these critical fights like this. Now Landon brings out that Invisible Woman ultimate once more, trying to create the space, cover the card, and keep the team alive, but Durham, so much damage going into them, luckily just as much going into their opponents. FF is going to be traded out for one of the vanguards to Groot. Now it's Fallen, that ultimate taken out of the fight here. Magic could backline dive. She's got the ult. I really want to see it come to fruition here, especially when the fight is so back and forth, but instead they don't choose to use it, so they lose it. Durham going to be able to finally win this fight once more and get to the halfway point of our escort map, our convergence.
I wonder if they knew that they had that kind of late term. It looked like they had actually dived beyond stairs and were prepping to use it, but then they ended up just kind of with too many opponents and thinking, all right, maybe I'll conserve this for later, to kind of chill out for a little bit. Ardrikel has 4 ultimates back up. You're going to have the Meteor. You also, again, you still have Cinder's ult, and they also have for another Eternal Bond prepped. That's the exact thing that we talked about earlier. When you got it, use it, because you're going to get it back.
Yep, you're gonna get it back, especially when you're playing one of the strategists in this game. They farm their ultimates like it's an ability. If you are healing to the counter where you are supposed to be, and I think a lot of these players here tonight are very clearly doing that. Some ultimates in the pocket here, gonna get caught out by Wolverine, though those claws do not come to play. Made out of that Adamantium, the strongest utility item in the Marvel Universe. I4. Vibranium shows up later, but hey, I digress. Anyway, FF does come through. A lot of damage here on the board, able to find a big opportunity, looking to strike early. Oh, goes up and over. No further eliminations, but I really think the damage has been done. Look how far Durham's been able to get the cart during this fight.
It's been huge, and they also have the last stand activated, just so much extra damage and so much survivability as they continue to slash and slash through Magneto, one of their cannon rivals that would otherwise kind of throw them around. Really wish that was kind of built in further. They're going to use extra boost to get them through this room, and this is the final checkpoint. They've got about, what, less than a minute to get it done.
Yeah, Ardrikel really not messing around here, but they are being taken down by Durham one play after another. I think Durham's really got the momentum on their side, and it's just like that symbiote of Planet from weeks 1 and 2, where you see the opportunity when the cart gets rolling. It's really difficult to stop it. Now, the good news is there's 40 seconds left, and you've got the judge and the jury and the executioner here into the mix, but, hey, Monkey Man, it doesn't matter when you don't touch the point. None of it matters if you don't touch the point.
Yeah,
nothing matters.
That final minute they got away from them. They're okay.
Really started the snowball.
Yeah, it was a lot of tunnel vision. They chased down those points, and honestly, it was one of those where FF, they can go chase down those fights. That's fine. They actually stuck it around cart for a long time, but then when you go to support, you get kind of caught off guard, and then that ends up being where things stop for Durham. But making that big push, there was a couple times that they were stuck. Love to see that what they fought through with Ardrikel.
Yeah, Marooner definitely not feeling the love on the Groot anymore. I think Calyx giving them a really consistent run for their money. Going to be swapping to the Thor instead. I mean, a powerhouse if I've ever seen one. Thor is a thorn in the side of everybody in this game. Just an absolute nuisance through and through. We saw that back in weeks 1 and 2, and I'm shocked that it took this long to see him in week 3. Or, you know what I mean, week 2, but the third week we've been doing Marvel Rivals.
The third, but also, if they stick to it, it looks like they're thinking about it, but they've got the full team up for the Ragnarok Rebirth. Because you've got Hela, you've got pretty much all of Asgard ready to go. So there's a ton of damage that's going to get pumped out into this. But look at Terran, looking at his options and considering, all right, maybe Captain America, that's my man, that's my dude. That is really a guy that can disrupt the flow of these big fights and press the back lines.
That's true. Captain America is a wild one in this game. I was a little more excited to see the Thor, but I do think Captain worked really well. You can get up close and personal a lot more consistently with your opponents, which I'm sure is the objective at a time like this.
So they're gonna kind of navigate well around this kind of outside edge, and they're gonna have their heroic leap, looking for when they want to dive ultimately in. Can use that shield throw, and they're going to break down walls to open up 2 extra portals as they go from around the backside. They're not going to play directly up that ramp. This is something that Ardrikel does differently. They take different avenues to get around the Bulldogs.
Ooh, the Captain America shield already paying off in droves here. A lot of damage to be dealt, but a lot of it to be mitigated as well. Marooner going to be caught in the back line, though, kind of stuck in a scenario where they have to rely on their supports, their strategists to get back into the fight. The shield dive goes to the point. You're looking for a target. You're going to be able to find one in the form of Mr. Fluffles. The damage being dealt. FF there for the return. But now both players, Cinder's on the Thor. I'm not sure how I missed that. I'm so sorry. FF finding that first elimination here. Durham looks for one at the 6v5 in their favor. This is exactly how Ardrikel won their first fight. And it was Durham who came in fight number 2 that were able to emerge victorious, while Ardrikel lived that same pattern.
You have a triple Vanguard with the lone duelist, and that's going to be on the Hela. And then everyone else is kind of chilling out, so you have a lot of meat, but you don't have the potatoes to really find the thickness of it directly to sight. So that's actually what's kept the Knights from being able to establish a longer position. They have so much extra onto this outside lane, but now they've committed a lot of their extra utility. This next big push, they're looking to be able to get it from this Eternal Bond, and it's a lot of high ground.
A lot of height and a lot of volatility, and versatility, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. The point is, FF really doing a great job on this Wolverine. I can almost guarantee he's going to be banned in map number 3. We hear the double ultimate come through from both cloaks and daggers, but we see Wannon dropping an ultimate of their own, so the healing for Durham is nearly unmatchable here in terms of the damage being put out by Archery Kell. They're just not going to be able to make that happen, but the good news is they use both support ultimates. They use both strategist ults going into this next fight. Archery Kell should be able to take advantage of that with the Meteor.
The Meteor, they've also got a couple of big ultimates of their own. They've got Mr. Fluffles that's got theirs, and they've also got Moon Knight that should be able to actually, because you have I don't think that we're really seeing the biggest value right now out of Groot, because there's so much just viability to get around walls, and you're not seeing the same kind of prison play that we saw when it was on that previous domination match.
Making the reconvergence once more. A lot of damage on the board. Mr. Fluffles does find one. Oh, the Meteor from the other side. Can Ghost try to pick it their own? No, it's FF with another double kill. No wonder they banned Wolverine. Oh my goodness. Just tearing up the battlefield time and time again. If FF can't get it up close, Majin can get it from far away. That's a 6K between the two of them.
FF must be a gardener, because he was chopping down Groot's roots just so swiftly. Just
poetry.
Oh man, Durham might have a chance to full hold here. We've got a minute to go. Not established a control of sight just yet. You have to be able to unlock that before they ultimately begin pushing forward. There's a lot for the Knights to do and not a lot of time to do it.
Hey, it would be our first map 3 of the season thus far, and I am not joking when I say that. We've seen two 2-0s in a row, and a map 3 could be quite the amazing opportunity here so early in the season. We hear the 3-fold make an appearance. Majin does have Moon Knight on ability up and running. Hella an ultimate of her own from the heavens. So much damage to be dealt. Durham just not able to get out of the way. One elimination. Majin has fallen. Ghost finds that elimination onto Mr. Fluffles, and just when you think the game's about to end, Archery Kell may finally be able to turn this tide back in their favor.
At least trying to force an overtime to come through and maybe burn at least a couple of more ultimates. They're going to keep the Cloak and Dagger ult for later. All this is just extra cleanup, and they should be able to complete the overall site take. So a couple of big picks and KOs coming through, and finally the Knights get a foothold, and not but a second left to really get it done. Septilence. What a close call. Bulldogs, though, they forced their hand.
Yeah, a close call indeed. Now, the good news, if you're rooting for Archery Kell here, is keep an eye on the fact that Durham made all 3, but only with 35 seconds left. So Archery Kell, well, they did wait until the literal last second to cap. It doesn't count them out of the fight quite yet. Last Stand does not keep FF alive in time. The ultimate just not able to get the viability they were looking for. Now, it does push the team back. It does allow a little bit of space to get in, but Archery Kell just simply not getting off this cart. They continue to move the action forward. Cinder's back onto Squirrel. No, it's gonna be someone else is now playing Squirrel Girl. It's Cinders. It was Boost earlier onto the Squirrel Girl of their own, and I see why this area is so congested. So many projectile walls to get damage onto. They missed the boost onto the torch up top, but the off angle could still work well from the lower ground.
They're also no longer playing that triple tank, so you do have 2 duelists now coming through, and I think Cinders was also seeing how that was kind of wasted between themselves and Boost, and wanted to be able to kind of weaponize and bring out a lot more damage, especially because there was just so many heals being pumped down. They have to deal with the fact that FF has found massive value. They're going to get Pharaoh left, they're going to get Slash, and it's going to feel real bad as they're starting to chop down that bush.
It's going to feel bad indeed. Groot goes down once again. You can tell that Maroon is just very comfortable on the Groot, but it's clearly not working at a time like this. Squirrel Stampede comes out, the Groot wall goes up to try and make it happen. Landon drops the pillar of their own, keeping the team healed in the space. 1-for-1 trade again. Archery Kell losing the numbers. This could be a disaster. They get stopped in the very same spot Durham did, but can they break through just like Durham did with 4 ultimates available versus the 3 on the side of Durham? I think Archery Kell has a really good chance of winning this next engagement, unless, got a little lost up here.
It's okay. It's the it's the voice actor for Jet, or not Jet, Spike from Cowboy Bebop. So he knows what he's doing.
Cowboy Bebop's in the Fortnite store right now.
Is it?
Yep, just came out yesterday.
Hit me with that Jet Black. Oh my goodness! Hit him with the Eternal Bond. This is gonna take away at least some backline safety spacing as they get rid of both balconies. So now everyone's getting a lot of chip damage. But it is the Goddess of Death, and they're landing on the mark. That's 2.
That's going to be 2 going down early on. That Eternal Bond just not going to be able to keep the team up at a time like this. Oh my goodness, FF quadruple kill. Catches a meteor with his face and is going to be able to stay alive. Boost goes down though. Hella has fallen. Ghost, the only player left standing, taking more damage, and they're going to be able to get healed up. I mean, FF has to have 30, 40 eliminations at this point.
Yeah, he's got a bazillion. I cannot wait to see the post screen, and that's exactly where we might be going.
Oh, they don't know. They don't know.
Gotta get over there. They have no idea. They're not gonna have a group to support them, and that's enough to disrupt them. We are going map number 3. Talk about a turnaround by Durham.
I mean, map number 3 for the first time in spring 2025 VESL Spring Season Marvel Rivals history. Happening right here, right now. We're going all the way to map number 3 in our second game of the evening. We still have Brawlhalla after this, so we could be in for quite the treat, my friends. A lot of damage here on the board, and it is FF with, oh, it disappeared so quickly. How many items was that?
Go back.
No.
Wait, repeat.
Wait,
that's fine.
Yeah, why is it replaying? What? Anyway, no, that's fine.
Just show us
the
the
see the scoreboard. I don't care.
Yeah, look at him. He's got massive shoulders and forearms. Come on.
Come on, show it to me.
Show
FF MVP, we knew that.
Yeah.
Yay! 29. What did I say? 30? Oh my goodness. And I mean, almost all 30 of those from the second half, by the way. FF really unlocking it on that defense, but a total of nearly 200 elims from the side of Durham in that game alone.
Wow. Yeah, that's lighting up the scoreboard in a
like
much bigger way. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge differential because you kind of go man to man and player to player across the board, and they're at least out gunning them and outslaying them by about 5 to 10 per. So that's a lot of extra KOs, and that presented a lot of pressure that I feel like maybe it was just too cheeky of an overall composition that they were trying to work into a 3 Vanguard, 2 support, 1 duelist. Didn't have enough damage to really go up the hill.
But listen, I know if I'm Audrey Kell, I'm never letting Wolverine see the light of day ever again. It's just we have learned from our mistakes. He is going to be our first ban, and then maybe the Thing if we're still feeling. I just want to see Thing gameplay, so I'm definitely being biased in this scenario. But like, I think there's just a lot of opportunity here to take that Wolverine out, knock Durham down a peg, and really just pray for the best in terms of player performance.
Yeah, and we're gonna be going Convoy on Empire of Eternal Night Midtown. So a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and a lot of change up. What do we get to see some Venom? We have actually not seen.
Yeah,
them
nobody's playing him. I don't know why. Maybe I'm out of the loop.
I ain't seen Spider-Man. I ain't seen Venom. I ain't seen any Penny Parkers. It's all been sticking to just kind of make some walls and deny space just through face
I get it though. I get it though. Not only am I a Spider-Man hater, and I only mean in Marvel Rivals. Wow. Otherwise, I love Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite heroes. But in Marvel Rivals, he's such a nuisance, dude. He's so annoying. It's almost like this community agreement of like, we won't do it if you don't do it. But if you do it, maybe. We might do it back. Who knows?
Gentleman's agreement to take down the Spidey, to get rid of the web slinger.
To get Spidey out of the way, because he's just annoying. It's like, that's nobody's fault. Like, he's supposed to be annoying, but it doesn't make it any more fun to play against. So I think keeping Spidey out of the equation makes sense. And I think in terms of Venom not being seen here, I'm okay with it. Like, I don't love it, but it's I get why it's happening. Like you said, you want to put those walls up, you want to get that mitigation, you want to get that damage, etc., etc. You want to see a scenario like that. So I'm hoping we see a little bit of Venom here on Midtown. I think this map actually lends itself really well for him. But I think these players have very clear compositions that they'd like to be playing, at least in the Vanguard portion.
That's very true, and we got to see some great Magneto play. I feel like that has been the most consistent thing.
Very true.
So do you commit to getting rid of the Doctor Strange again? That actually completely nullified what was their early game plan of getting to at least some of these backside positions, really kind of reworking the map. They love to play off angle, not just kind of that down main lane. And I feel like Doctor Strange, especially with the Eye of Agamotto, getting the stuns off was huge. So it feels like they may recommit to that, but you also may see FF, if they full dagger pull and they're like, all right, no Wolverine. You're probably seeing you're planning to see FF not have his favorite guy in the background.
If Audrey Kell does not ban Wolverine, I will be flabbergasted. I mean, you were just given such a good example of why you should. Do not forget that between rounds. I mean, FF, a powerhouse there in that last matchup, and I think just so much to do with the fact that they're playing a hero they very clearly are comfortable playing. They know the play style of, and they know the target focus they need to have to play a character like that. Because playing Wolverine, not nearly as easy as FF just made it look.
That's very true. And also, we can't not forget that they got rid of Black Panther. That was
That's
big.
true.
So you got rid of Doctor Strange, you have no Black Panther, and so that was two huge heroes that were there in that domination game that really then ultimately, I guess, hamstrung this squad. They went much more to a Vanguard level kind of comp, just trying to be heavy front, and then they had some good looks when Hela was actually brought out.
Yeah.
But that was like two times, and it was off of the ultimate, and otherwise the consistency just kind of fell to FF on the Wolverines running against them. So we'll get to see maybe if that turns away, and if they go full Isgard or otherwise between everyone from I guess between their Thor and I don't know. It feels like especially with Convoy, that you have to really have a lot of flexibility about how you move around the map. And I actually loved that the Bulldogs didn't bulldog their way into keeping a storm that didn't really work in that first map.
I agree. I think you bring up a great point. I honestly, full disclosure, forgot about the storm. I was so locked in with the current team comps. I forgot we saw that storm back in map number 1. It didn't work then. I don't know if it's going to work now, but we jump into map number 3, Midtown Empire of Eternal Night. A very cool map to throw in early into Marvel Rivals, by the way, but that's a whole nerd rabbit hole that we probably should not go into right now, but it's a really cool thing to see happen so early. Going into Midtown here with the release of Mr. Fantastic as well, who we've already seen. We've seen Invisible Woman. Where are my boys Johnny and Ben? That's all I'm asking. Where is Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm? I know they're in there. Please show them to me, but I get it. Banning the thing every time makes sense. He's so strong, it's insane.
Where does he kind of measure up with all of your Vanguards? Where's his best?
He's new, so it's hard to give him like a guarantee, but his like passive ability where he can't be moved by most abilities in the game makes him like top 3 permanently, I feel.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that's why we're seeing him locked so consistently. Yeah, check that out. Check that out.
Oh,
goodbye, Wolverine. No. They do not make that same mistake twice.
They said, nah, get him out. Don't want them. Don't want to deal with them.
Again?
Yeah, no, they do. There was a massive amount of damage kicked up whenever we got to see Wolverine, or rather Black Panther, in that first map, and that has resonated with Durham. Don't want any of that for this next map.
Let's see what this last one's gonna be. They don't know either. Oh, just under the wire there. Bucky Barnes gonna get locked out, which is so funny. Nobody's tried to play him. He's been banned every time, so we don't even know if they want to. But
do you think that they knew the consistency of what Durham liked to play, and it did involve the Winter Soldier? Because they did it with Wolverine straight off the rip. Obviously, you can see it in like regular play. So was considering like, all right, do they know the tendency here? Like, what's going on? We see a soft lock, at least for the Iron Man. That Doctor Strange, though, was not locked away.
Not this time, and I think that's going to make a very big difference. You remove that Vanguard, who is so much of the team's mobility, utility, and damage mitigation, put him back in the fray. That could really shake things up. But I do want to comment, though, that we did... I mean, the ban of the thing over and over, I can't tell. And if anybody's watching this and they know the answer for this team specifically, like DM me on Twitter or something, let me know, because I'm very curious. The ban of the thing is one of two things. He's insanely strong, and they know that they don't want to risk it, or they did the research, and they know that the thing is they want to play, that they want to bring the thing to the table. And here's the thing. Thank you. That's it. I didn't actually have anything else to say.
I thought that was actually a huge point.
No, the point was made prior, and then I just wanted to make the joke.
That's good. Oh, okay. So you do have a lot of high-low situation that you can go into Midtown, but there's also so many of these like off-alley streetways, like into the shops that make some of this fight separated. Love seeing that Cinders I love seeing Cinders has actually gone back to the Magic, because you can use so much of this close quarters combat space to really pump the damage.
Without us now. I mean, there is so much ability to do so much damage on this map, and I think we're going to be seeing that happen early on here. A lot of damage coming out from FF, who's now on the Moon Knight. So Wolverine goes down, FF says, okay, fine, I'll try this instead. Must have been to the table, which does shake up the team comp even more so as it takes Mahi off of the Moon Knight back onto the Storm, which we have not had a lot of great things to say about, but I digress. Clearly it's working right now, already halfway to the first point of this game.
Storm is actually a very strong pick as well for how narrow all of this map is going to be, so I don't hate it as well. They just need to not solo ult with the Omega Hurricane. If you can get some support and get some consistency to be able to push with that, then that's going to be huge. Off angle right now as Boost is getting so much value off of the Squirrel Girl, and I feel like they've got to really prioritize getting them out of the way.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, in these tight-knit scenarios like this, you want to try to get those off-angle flanker damagers out of the corner here, and I think it's going to be a really strong performance from the Squirrel Girl. I think it's going to be a pretty consistent through line. The stun goes through, but about off the curve, though. What was that? Absolutely insane. The Cloak and Dagger on the cart. Going to make it a lot harder to stay into the fight, but I believe both of them pop their ult to the equal healing comes through. Wow, FF multi-kill ult once again. Just the name of the game.
Telling you what to do. It's in their name, it's in the game, and now you have Boost trying to run away, but eventually, as Squirrel Girl can no longer just play up in the trees and throwing their nuts, you have them just laid down to rest off of a great KO. They're gonna poke the bear. FF has seen themselves able to survive. A time or two, they're gonna be supported off of that extra kind of that invisibility dome, giving them a chance to really kind of see what's gonna be beyond the cart. The Cinders, look at them, this off angle, they'll be able to find a big pick.
Ooh, goes in quick. They're able to get up and over the group wall. FF already takes the group down, though. This is just such a clean performance over and over. Haim takes out one. Porpoise, though, has fallen. I mean, this fight's over. You just got to get out. You got to die or get out. Durham has won this fight again. They are just powering through this match.
This is a snowball. Durham has not slowed down. 4 minutes to go, and you're just seeing incredible work. We're gonna have more ultimates coming up. You have the Omega Hurricane again. With everyone up, they might be able to use that to really secure this next checkpoint. And considering how we've seen basically the Knights on their heels consistently so far, Septilence, I mean, they've got a lot of ults to burn. Might see this one come up through as well if they can be able to get that Dark Child out of Cinders.
Boost finds the pick early. Can they capitalize on the back? But with the Eye of Agamotto, finding every single member of Durham. That is going to be a clean fight win for Ardrikel. Again, just like the last fight, over before it could even begin.
That was, okay, again, using the portal to be able to get that teleport spot, they actually ended up from behind the cart, so no one was able to see it coming, and that is how versatile a Doctor Strange Vanguard player can be, and we've seen them, especially at the beginning and kind of mid-game, be very important to ultimately get some of those off-point lanes to get the Knights in the right way, but that was 4 of the 5 ultimates that were online, and now you have a counter-attack brewing from Bulldogs.
Incoming!
Okay, there we go.
Wow, okay, straight into the front line, sure.
They got one, kind of, and now they're stuck. And, well, the beatings begin to keep morale up. And from there forward, using a giant meteor.
Oh, gosh, it goes with a triple kill out of the pocket off the meteor strike. A beautiful performance, but unfortunately isn't going to be enough. Ghost has fallen, Kim taken down as well. Porpoise is back with an ultimate on the side here. Oh, wow, Ardrikel just clawing out of the jaws of defeat here once again, still standing.
Lights out. Got another Cloak and Dagger. Ultimate online, gonna be able to use that so well. Actually, if you combine that with the God of Mischief, that's Hurtville City. That is not a fun time that anyone wanted to be able to get back to the cart. So just before that second checkpoint, Bulldogs have found it to be much more difficult. They're gonna have a couple minutes to go. Still have to unlock that third pathway from this convoy, and then it's going to be flipped right back around. They've shown that they can do that when it comes to conversions, but right now it's become a much more difficult factor.
Ooh, Porpoise in the back line, getting dove, has to ult out of there. I love it. I think the Squirrel Stampede is en route in just a moment here. Looking for the pick, trying to win the 1v1. He's got the shield up and running. It's a lot harder to find that elimination. The group ult is making this all the same, but actually Moon Knight that pops the first ultimate we are going to see. 3 players down inside of Durham, only 1 is here for Ardrikel. He may still hold this point again, 3rd or 4th fight in a row. But they're going to be able to steadfast stand just shy of that second cap.
They are 0.45 meters away from securing this front side position, and that is rough. Another big KO, and this is going to stagger them out. You maybe have 2 team fights depending on how everything else goes, but the fact that they've actually staggered the last kill onto Mr. Fluffles as well as Wannon, that's become rough. So now with a lot of ults, I believe that Ardrikel, they're in a great position. You do have the Dark Child as well as that the Squirrel Stampede ready to go out of boost, and if you do that from 2 basically counter flanking angles, I don't know how they're supposed to be able to get back to this cart, safely get to that next checkpoint.
I'm really not sure. I mean, the name of the game is going to be survivability through and through. Durham, they continue to swarm in, pop 1 ult, and then just get wiped with a I almost said snail stampede, with a squirrel stampede in the back line here. Ardrikel could really win this fight before it even begins. The name of the game here for Midtown. A lot of damage to be done on both sides. A bit of Fortnite here. It's going to be FF. Double kill comes through. The Eye of Agamotto stuns 3. Not able to find any eliminations off the back of it, though. Oh, Meteor up. Let's see who it finds. Oh, with the help of Boost, 2 players down, and Durham finally breaks through. 10 seconds left. They should be able to cap this point any second now. 14 meters. Uh-oh.
Darkchild coming through. They're gonna use that teleport. Can they be able to find at least one more? That Soul Sword, if they use that quick Eldritch Whirl right afterwards, there's so much AoE damage. You cannot survive this. It's just not happening. It's gonna be a second checkpoint hold. It was 0.14 away. And now, if you are the Bulldogs, you know where you gotta hold to. They got the first, they just could not complete the second.
Your win condition has been set if you were looking to succeed here. Audrey, Cal, I mean, that was their fight to win and Durham's fight to lose. Holy cow, they just outperformed. What a showing in that defense. This team, even when they're down, are here to show us they are not out at a time like that. Unbelievably well done from Audrey Cal.
Do you believe, like, obviously we got to see the Black Panther get prioritized as being taken off the board. They did not like that duelist, but it feels like, I mean, maybe they think someone's just gonna walk into the thing, but not getting rid of that Doctor Strange and the Eye of Agamotto ultimates have really forced them into some tough positions because they don't have one that was countering it. FF is looking at it. Possibly, that would be a switch up.
It would definitely be a switch up. I'd be surprised. FF's playstyle has not screamed Doctor Strange to me in any way whatsoever, so I think it would be surprising to see if they're able to bring it out. Now, they are top fragging on their team right now, so who am I to suggest what they may or may not play, but I do think it would be really interesting because FF would have to play a lot slower than they currently are.
Well, everything's set before them. What can be done? FF has found 15 and 4. They did really well onto the Moon Knight. Looks like they're actually going to be holding strong onto this Doctor Strange pick. They want to be Doctor and Strange, PhD and a weirdo. See how it works out for the defense.
Me, because I don't have a PhD.
Oh my goodness, Majin.
Wow.
Goodbye.
Holy cow, blink and you miss it. Majin taken out of the equation early, opening the door for Audrey Kell to get the player advantage, to get the card moving. And if they get to that first point within these first 2 fights, they're halfway done with this map and the series will be theirs.
Trying to play from this high ground position. Majin is going to go rejoin the rest of the fray. It feels like forever to move to anywhere. And now they're just kind of using that quick shield from around that corner. Everyone basically standing inside. And as soon as you get separated because of these group walls, it feels like you're just lost on an island.
Yep, you've been locked into the Minotaur's labyrinth at a time like that. Durham is going to be able to find a large strike early. FF, I hate to say it so quick, but Swap, let's get back to the Doctor Strange. You are getting demolished, and that shield is just getting deleted. It's hard to play Doctor Strange when so many people are focusing that shield so aggressively. 3 minutes, only 1 minute has been spent so far, and they have hit that first point cap.
Since they're playing a Vanguard, who flipped around? We gotta think, oh my goodness, getting blinded, deafened, and now just laid down to the floor. That is hurtful. You have another Eternal Bond. They actually get blocked out because of the wall that's in front of them, and they're trying to full hold into this first checkpoint. What an aggressive play to try and keep his card top lane.
What a fall apart here at a time like this. The Scroll Stampede comes in from Boost for double insult to injury. So many players already down inside of Durham, and the Eye of Agamotto from FF is not able to find much. It finds 1, but it's almost a consolation prize, as this fight has already been lost.
I like the idea. Feels like there was a stagger of execution. You and I have actually seen it a time or two when they kind of solo ult into an opportunity, and it just really doesn't return that value. Feels like a lot more of that communication needs to come through as to when they want to execute from those.
I don't disagree in the slightest. I think there's a lot of just hero play potential that is unbelievably high risk, high reward, and unfortunately there's just no reward for the risk taken this time. The Eye of Agamotto has gone down, and one time a Ghost still has it in their pocket, and that could spell disaster. This could be huge. Already you can see the spacing getting ready to use it.
Oh boy, yeah, if they were setting up the portal, they might have gotten behind them for this low ground. Remember, they have to full hold into this. It's about 0.14 meters from that second checkpoint. The first one to fall is actually going to be Boost. A Squirrel Girl will be out of the fray, so there's a lot of damage lost. That means that you can start seeing the Bulldogs pressing up the ramp.
Oh, wow. Okay. We've got the Dark Child coming in early here from Cinders, wants to be able to find a little bit of damage here. Knocking into Mr. Fluffles. 2 players already, now 3 from Durham. They're starting to break through a little bit. Archery Kells getting a taste of their own medicine at a time like this. That would have been so funny if that was actually Kim. But at a time like this, it's, you know, Durham in the same spot. Maybe this is just a strong part of the map for the defensive team. That first area, it's so defensive and it's so close in that if you lose one player, you lose your advantage. Spawn is so far away, it's hard to recontest, but your spawn is right around the corner now. So maybe Archery Kells gonna get a taste of their own medicine.
We're also seeing the fact that Durham has recognized how this team wants to play deep. They're all prepping up to be able to use that next teleport, and they're going to try and come in from behind from that upper high ground position. But welcome to the blast zone of this meteor to your face. They saw that coming up, and they immediately wanted to meet them at the door. Aya Vagamoto comes through, trying to be able to get that stun off, and they do at least clear the Groot off the board.
Groot has been cleared off the board for the first time in a while. Calyx back out of the group, by the way. So even keeping FF on the Dr. Shrink, we were putting Calyx back on that Vanguard. So we've got triple Vanguard, but Audrey Kell clearly only needs 1 here in the kill feed right now. Maroon able to find an insane breakthrough there. 4 kills, I believe, and with 3 ultimates in their pocket versus only 1 from Durham. This could be the beginning of the end. This Aya Vagamoto from FF has to be all 6. Aya Vagamoto! And it's only 3 with 0 elims out of it.
They got to stand right in the middle of sight, too. They also have to deal with the fact that we're going to see another strangling prison, and there's so much damage. Boost has been doing it left, right, and center alongside Cinders, and as we see this start to get depleted, it might be the Bulldogs that are yeeted off site. They still have ultimates ready to go, and everyone from the Bulldogs will be sent packing. Ardry Kell might be able to finish this one off, and will. They survive the turning, they survive the win of that second site. They take second checkpoint, and they will take this 3rd map.
They take the 3rd map, which means that they take the series. Audrey Kell starts strong, gets a little shaky there in the middle, but emerges victorious here in our Marvel Rivals series here tonight. Fewer Porpoise, Grandmaster 3, a surprise to nobody, MVP.
Of course. And we got to see some very, very purposeful and strategic play from their Cloak and Dagger. I feel like that really kind of led the way for success. 21-4 and 34 did not have their backline really upended. And if you kind of compare what happened into that previous Convergence map into this one, obviously Ardry Kell came to play, knew when to shut them down, and they just kept staggering out the Bulldogs every single chance that they had. And I feel like taking that Wolverine off the board, gotta see what FF can maybe move into later weeks, flexing around their hero pool.
Yeah, and before we throw it to a break here, getting ready for Brawlhalla, I do want to point out the Porpoise versus Liv scenario. So mind you, the Liv is a sub for this team on the side of Durham, but check this out. When you look at the Grandmaster 3 versus, I believe, Liv is gold in healing. Liv had more. In damage blocked, Liv just barely had less. In damage, though, that's the big difference. Liv's 10 elims to Porpoise's 21. So is that the big difference between a good versus great Cloak and Dagger? And of course, I'm using Liv as the example, but she didn't play poorly by any means. I mean, this is just the players that happen to be in front of us. But is it one of those situations where you play Cloak and Dagger well if you can do damage just as much as you can heal? That's where things are really going to matter. But folks, because that took so long, all the way map number 3, we're going to throw it to break right now. We're going to get to this break. We're going to get our Brawlhalla players ready, and we'll be back for our last game of the evening in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
For $120,000. It's gonna be awesome. There's multiple titles. Check it out. It's a grand finals time! I'm gonna show you behind the scenes of an esports event. So this is the mothership behind me. This is a mobile gaming rig. It's a whole production set. So follow along. We have some games going on right now. Right now we have Smash going on, and you can see there's multiple PCs set up. Valorant, Rocket League, 2K. This is where all our players took place. The entire tournament happened right on this rig. Let's go bother the casters for a second. All right, so right here is where the casters are. So if you guys ever wondered what it was like to be a caster, this is exactly what it's like. Here's the people that actually do all the work.
students can compete in video games and STEM pathways, allowing them to win prizes and build life-changing opportunities. VESL helps guide students towards discovering their career pathways in and after high school by engaging them in fun, competitive competitions that build real-life skills such as problem-solving, teamwork, and accountability. VESL began just 2 years ago with a handful of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Now, VESL is supported by the entire state with over 200 schools and 3,000 active students. With no expensive requirements to participate, VESL makes itself the most accessible esports and STEM league in North Carolina. The league is even accessible to students who only have access to a phone through our Not Work platform. Students interested in esports will have the chance to compete against other schools across the state, showcasing their skills during a 7-week regular season leading into regional playoffs and a state championship. This fall season will offer Rocket League, Overwatch 2, College Football 25, and Super Smash Bros. In a season-long competition. Not interested in those game titles? Well, no worries. We have all sorts of exciting tournaments and casual game nights happening throughout the season as well, featuring over 30 game titles. Registration for the fall 2024 season is now open and will close on September 20th. Seeding for teams will also take place on September 23rd, and the regular season begins on September 30th. The season will end with the state championship taking place later in the fall. VESL will share more details soon as we get closer to the main event. On top of all that, we present the VESL Yearly Cup. With a focus on players' versatility and adaptability, VYC features 8 standout esports titles that form an integrated competition lasting the entire school year. This fall 2024 season's VYC features Apex, Valorant, Fall Guys, and Brawlhalla. Each game will impact the overall rankings with a cumulative scoring system determining the final top 3 performers at the end of the school year. We will also be holding several events prior to the official league season, including our Super Smash Bros. Draft Clash and Fortnite. Keep a lookout on socials for more details to come about VYC. VESL also offers a STEM league geared towards teaching students valuable skills and rewarding them for their achievements. STEM players compete during a regular season in various topics rotated through an 8-week schedule, giving students valuable exposure to STEM fields like engineering, agri-tech, game development, and more. Competitions are broken into bite-sized, self-paced challenges where students learn real-world skills and tackle challenges in a flexible time frame. All of this supported by online resources and guidance from our STEM coaches. Players earn rewards upon completing competitions, with each student participating individually and contributing to their school's overall performance. Teams compete against other high schools across North Carolina, with top performing teams advancing through the season to an in-person championship where teams can earn some awesome prizes. The STEM season will begin on September 26th and run through November 21st. Registration is now accessible through our new learning social platform, Not Work. Not Work is an innovative platform that leverages technology to meet high school students where they are and takes them where they want to be. This includes an all-in-one location for leaderboards and stats throughout our competitive season, innovative ways to connect with STEM, and much, much more. Once students have grown in their network by interacting in the social experience, they can earn a chance to access a brand new experience coming soon to the Not Work app. Representatives from VESL will connect with students and teachers to help with registration and answer questions about the season. We're excited about everything new and are thrilled to make this the best VESL season yet.
Would you recommend this program to other students? If so, why?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean, absolutely.
Highly recommended. Getting hands-on experience and competing with people alike build your character and like your skill set.
Yes, for sure, hands down. They will see a growth within their kids. They have opened up as individuals.
Teaches them certain skills, gives them opportunities that are good for college.
It's so open and evolving for anyone.
Atmosphere is amazing, what they do for the kids.
Gives such an important outlet to put that gaming experience and skill into.
I've been all over the block when it comes to esports, whether it's collegiate, professional, and then here for high school. There's just nothing else like it.
We went out to New York City in partnership with Power GPU to surprise the entire AMP crew with their very own PCs at their new summer penthouse. And let me tell you, it was a crazy experience.
While flying drones and planting gardens sounds like fun hobbies, VESL has found a way to take these activities and drive education and build careers for high schoolers. AgTech is a critical industry in the state of North Carolina, and VESL's mission has always been to better engage and prepare high school students for the jobs of tomorrow. This year, VESL offered some of its best STEM pathways yet, including our drones and hydroponic curriculums, all geared towards AgTech industries. Students learn to fly drones from the comfort of their own homes through the VESL Network platform, and even through completion of the hydroponics curriculum, were sent equipment to grow and harvest their own food.
And because VESL covers so much of the cost of all these things, it's accessible to all of them versus other types of sports. And I've had kids that sometimes like, well, I can't afford this, I can't afford this, and they don't get to do it. This is something that they can all afford and they can all do and participate in.
VESL is a place for students to build careers that soar higher than their drones. And what better place to see this in action than at our 2024 Fall State Championships. Students competed in drone racing, showcasing their expertise for field surveying and crop management, which are essential for the future of agriculture. Or maybe you came to watch students experience the fruits of their labor, where they cooked meals out of their own food that they grew and harvested completely on their own. At these championships, not only do students win amazing prizes, they earn recognition, connect with their community, build credentials for their resume, and experience how much fun STEM really can be.
My favorite part about VESL is the opportunities that it provides them that they wouldn't otherwise have.
I've always played sports, but I've never been like, top on the team. STEM is something that I can really excel in, and I feel my skills and my personality, I'm kind of suited for it.
Before I won that spring state STEM thing, I didn't really win anything huge up until that point, and that really boosted my confidence for the future, and I'd say it really helped me as a person.
Welcome to the Varsity and Esports STEM League, where high school students can compete in video games and STEM pathways, allowing them to win prizes and build life-changing opportunities. VESL helps guide students towards discovering their career pathways in and after high school by engaging them in fun, competitive competitions that build real-life skills such as problem-solving, teamwork, and accountability. VESL began just 2 years ago with a handful of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Now, VESL is supported by the...
Welcome back! It's VESL time! Coming at you live and loud. We still have some more action tonight. And again, I'm Hale Monkey Man alongside the awesomeness that is Septilence. And you guys have been a wonderful crowd so far as we've seen our second week of VESL action. And, Septilence, we've seen some great plays, some great players, but also bringing back the STEM side and also some fun because you have the not work. You got some cool things that all these students are able to sign up for, but we also have some giveaways. This is a very generous aptitude that VESL is up to bring, so we're immediately going to take you over to that. I believe that's a word from Co and some good information coming from that. So let's throw it that way.
All right, chat, time to lock in, as this is one of the best parts of the show. Last week, we had 3 mini challenges, and for anybody who completed all 3, they're entered into a raffle for some gift cards. Now, what we're going to do is randomly pull from that list of users here and see who wins the prize. Here we have a list of unique user IDs just for safety, and so now we're going to click on random. We have our first user here, and it is Pristine Piggy. You just won $25 in a gift card of your choice. We'll be in contact to find out what kind of gift card you want. And for the rest of you, if you want a chance to win in the future, go ahead and make sure to participate in those mini challenges released every Friday.
Welcome back, everyone, and congratulations over to Piggy, able to get their gift card of their choice. Maybe they can use it for literally anything. I don't know. Have fun going out there. It's $25, and hey, take it away from that. So as we go into late term of this Septilence, we are seeing everything that Co was just talking about from those challenges. They're heading to that next stride, that level 2 situation, and that's exactly what we want to see for these awesome students.
Yeah, absolutely. Level 2, obviously, one above level 1. Crazy, I know. But the challenges maybe get a little more intensive, maybe get a little bit more involved in a circumstance like that. So I'm excited to see who's going to be able to win our next giveaway, who's going to be able to participate in those challenges. They're super fun. And if you don't win the giveaways like the $25 gift card that we just saw, there are, of course, the coins that you can get and spend in the shop, as we've talked about a couple of times today. But something else we've talked about a couple of times today, Hell Monkey Man, is Brawlhalla. Which is coming up in just a minute. Now, when this broadcast started, we had a different potential roster coming to the table, but somebody wasn't able to make it. We had to shift a couple of games around, and now the 3 players we're seeing, I believe, have changed, or at least one of them has.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna actually see if any of that is gonna run to completion as well, because as we kind of lift and shift, Vessel's also obviously able to see all the different players as they kind of run back around. We do have the leaderboards actually that we wanted to bring for the pathway leaderboard section from the challenges that we were able to get from Co as well. So as we kind of get prepped for Brawlhalla, that will be here in just a little bit. We'll make sure to show you guys all of what's been going on from the STEM side. Shout out actually over to Maximo 203 from Cab Early College in the data analytics, sitting at first place as these guys were learning how to use SQL. If you don't know SQL, we call it SQL in the regular workplace, but their queries to help Coach Jesse create the best esports team. I don't know who ended up being the best esports team, but they got the help and they had that 97 points. That is huge to be at the top of the rock. I believe that we have another as well in the form of Lion that was from William Amos Hugh High in content creation. That's pretty huge. You're able to help out, and that was such a thin margin of difference between them and range.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, check that out. 93.9 and then 93.0. So very close, but just around the corner there. I mean, it comes down to literally the point percentile there. And it's actually super fun to be looking at these and seeing some familiar names we've been talking about so much today. Cat Peaches and NCVA Saturn are on there. There were a couple of other names that were on the other one that I recognized, and as soon as they were off my screen, I forgot. Becca the Destroyer in third place as well. We've talked about Becca a lot today. We saw them participate in the drone rivals earlier, drone rivalries. So I think it's very cool to see these players just really stretching their wings and like trying to experience as many different aspects of VESL and STEM as they can. I think that's super sick.
Yeah, this is awesome because the students in particular, these are students that are starting their documentary journey as they are getting, they're setting up pitches for what their film is going to be. So that is huge. I believe that we have one more of our leaderboards as well as Where to Chokin, as again, another very margin of difference as Ardrikel gets this one in cybersecurity. Shout out to the game because I've been doing that for like 16 years. But these students, they've been, hacking grandma. I don't know. I actually do know.
I actually, this one is my favorite. So I don't work in cybersecurity, but for those that don't know, director of Mercyhurst Esports, Mercyhurst actually is one of the best cybersecurity programs in the United States. So I experience a lot of students that are in cybersecurity. And when I was explaining this to them, I was like, yeah, so there's like a grandma. I was like, it's not like someone's real grandma. Like she's not a real grandma, I swear. And then I had to explain the concept. And my college students were talking about how fun that sounded, and like how exciting that was, and like how interesting this could be. So I mean, it's super neat to explain. Like I love the inclusivity here and the creativity of people putting that together of like trying to get a password from a fake grandma to stress the importance of cybersecurity. Like it's just fun. Like it's so fun.
I mean, God forbid you have to deal with another fellow content creator in Kit Boga, and he tries to pretend to be a grandma. If you've never seen that guy, well, if you haven't seen that guy, you know what's up. But either way, awesome to see all of the competition here for the STEM side in those 3 separate categories as we see all of those challenges go forward. But I don't know if you can hear me drum rolling. It's actually maybe just creating really terrible audio. As we have our next challenges announcement, as we'll have a new pathway challenge unlocked right now. You can go to the challenges page on the Not Work to join in. The top submissions for this week's featured challenges will receive gold, which can be directly redeemed for those prizes in the coin shop that we were talking about. So make sure, bring your pickaxe and bring your brain, because that's exactly what you need to find some extra prizes at the end of the day. And make sure to check out some of the cool prizes that they have there. But also, it changes every single week. It's rotating. It's kind of like a battle pass, kind of like the coin shop, whatever it's going to be. But your STEM mentor in Discord will reach out to be able to help you out. And as a reminder, there's new mini challenges that will be dropping tomorrow. So they take just less than a couple minutes. And this is exactly what you want to see from all of our STEM, projects for this Septilence, to see these kids and students consistently going and challenging the old brain STEM.
Yeah, without a doubt, we're going to be seeing this make an action here come through one way or another. These students are going to be able to use a mini game or a regular mini game or a bonus challenge or a level 2 challenge to experience some aspect of STEM in a very fun, very inclusive, very interactive way. And to my other kinesthetic learners out there, interactive ways to learn is just the best way to do it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, because I know that we are enjoying just even getting to watch you guys do it has been fun enough. The drone rivalries we watched earlier, we've got so much more of that ahead of us. That is a blast. I cannot get over how fun that is, and I'm excited to see more of it alongside everything else STEM and VESL related.
So, all right. So we're going to be going into our matches here in just a moment, as we do have Brawlhalla just right around the corner. So we're going to be going directly into the fray. We're going. We've got 3 big fights. We've got West Craven Blue versus Mallard Creek Blue. So it's straight to it.
Come on, Jinx is the player I was telling you about from last week. This is the kid that came in and dominated the matchup last week. It was a beautiful performance from Jinx on, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the name of the characters, but I swear I knew it at some point. It is just such a valuable playstyle with this javelin, with this lance that we see. They love the mid to close range. They love to get up close and personal, and they love to ledge guard just like we're trying to see right now.
See if they can be able to hold this from that tight ledge, because because you also have the rocket lancer that is creating so much space. But if you can be able to get the combination off of at least the gauntlets, might be able to find them. But you have such a huge poke and prod territory, and they've been really kind of dashing them through. Oh my goodness, they've been really ramping this up. Oh, what an uppercut to be able to get back on the stage.
Absolutely, a beautiful performance here in the early shot. We see Jinx trying to get out of the upstage here, but they're not going to be able to do so. This is Jinx against Relocate, like you said, from Les Craven. It's going to be 3-3 on the board still, so Jinx already having a bit of a tougher time than they did last week, and I think that's because these kids have been shuffled into people with the same win record. So both Relocate and Jinx and Ascent, who we'll be seeing as our third player, are all 2-0.
Oh, you do have a sword spawning, and they're actually going to go and start juggling between those two, seeing if they can be able to get some extra damage much more quickly. Oh, but they're not going to let them get hands back on a weapon, so they chuck those away. They're going to make it so much more difficult for any of this to happen. I feel like Relocate is about to see themselves going down.
Yeah, Relocate getting just boxed out of the matchup here. A beautiful performance here with this weapon juggling, keeping Relocate in the air. No gauntlets in hand. Oh, finally going to have that pike online, though. Oh, until you get air dodge through. Thea, that's it. It's Thea. I knew it was 4 letters. Thea is going to be able to find that first elimination there with the help of Jinx controlling the sticks.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And you're gonna see some weapon juggling as well that's coming out of Jinx, and Jinx continues to just make life difficult here for Relocate, as Relocate has been relocated and actually trying to get slapped in the face from off of a weapon throw, and they keep clearing them out. So we're gonna be going dead even between these next couple of big stocks. Gotta see what they can do. As I like that for this map, you do see the kind of slow relocation of that platform, giving them an extra play to be able to go underneath.
Ooh, Jinx able to find a great shot on the Relocate here, and you can tell that Jinx is just getting warmed up. It may have been a close matchup toward the beginning, but Jinx is really getting into the mix-up here. This Thea is such a natural pick for them, and we saw them play a secondary hero last week, but I suspect a lot more of this Thea as they continue to show the dominance and the ability to control with the Relocate, taking down off stage the platform, grab into the stage spike, gonna be able to get back onto the platform though with a bit of air recovery and edge wall jumping. Close, but unfortunately no cigar here. Jinx gonna be able to miss 2 kill confirms now.
All right, so we have the mighty hands versus the big feet, and those feet have so far been dancing all over Relocate's skull, trying to do a little bit of edge guarding. They take a quick dash and then they get thrown down. So again, separation and just not allowing them to exist. That's gonna be the upper blast zone, and they're down to final stock.
Down to final stock here in the scenario. Close regard. Let's see if Relocate's going to be able to answer back. Now, Jinx last week, I believe, lost 1 stock, and it was when they jumped off the map on accident. It was a full SV. They went completely unkillable last week, and clearly we're not going to be seeing that same action here, but I talked about each week as people go undefeated, the skills are just going to get higher. The people are going to get more talented, and that's exactly what we're seeing at a time like this. Slow and steady could win the race here for Jinx, though, if they just keep themselves cool. But oh, Relocate very close to the kill confirm.
You also have that off of the basically off of the overall kind of pike. If you continue to have to play into that, especially with these with the boots, you actually don't have any distance, and they chuck it after them. So we're gonna go down to final stock. Is still a disadvantage here for Relocate, but they're trying to be able to cut that in half. But feels like more and more that they do so, they're just kind of getting stuck off ledge. Now this is a difficult position because Jinx has seen themselves get uppercutted. They're gonna create a temporary platform. They also have one that Relocate can relocate to.
The 10th platform from Jinx has been such a lifesaver with so many of these shots, and it is going to be Jinx on Thea, able to win that first matchup. A lot closer than, as I mentioned, anything we saw last week, but still a beautiful performance nonetheless from both players. I'm curious if we're going to be seeing that Aang reappear here from Relocate, if that's going to be their primary. Now, of course, I'd love to see anything ATLA related, but maybe they've got a secondary character they want to try to bring to the table.
It makes a lot of sense that you know, Aang as an airbender would want to have more of a kind of a bow staff situation, create some of that distance. But I mean, we saw off the Thea that you really used the Swift Runner shoes to full effect. Really didn't feel like they kind of felt at all deterred, even when they were using the Skyrocket earlier to be able to have so much of that extra distance and power. So so far it has really been Jinx. You had mentioned last week that they had just looked basically untenable, just no one able to take them down. Feels like this one a slight bit closer. You just can't let the lead get that out of hand in that second stock.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, when Thea gets into that upper echelon of performance, gets into being that player in charge of the momentum, that's where she really starts to shine. And I think Jinx knows that really well. It's going to be a little bit difficult when you don't have that advantage, but when you do, when you can get a bit more aggressive with your playstyle, when you can get riskier with the hits you choose to and to not take, I think it's those opportunities where we see great success from Jinx on this Thea. Now going into the second matchup of this best of three, I can't stop thinking, I don't know who Relocate plays. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that performance, make a reemergence. But no, instead, we are swapping on both sides. So Jinx back to the Scarlet. This is the character I referenced earlier, the secondary we saw. And then Relocate now onto Orion.
Okay, all right. See how this one kind of gets balanced out. I felt like that they definitely had a lot of speed on their side when they were on the Thea. So with the Scarlet, now a bit more of a balanced effort, and you're seeing Relocate go for something a bit heavier. So maybe trying to mark and match what we were seeing out of Jinx earlier on.
Could be trying to match that level of aggression. That may be actually why I think we see Jinx swap, is so that you can't get familiar with what they're playing. Their play style continues to be shaken up, continues to be a little bit unusual. And I think that's really like an intelligent play at this level, is not letting somebody begin to map out your traditional play style. Now, Jinx being on stream 2 weeks in a row, we're going to have a lot of footage for other players to go look at. So this could be really the antithesis of beneficial for them.
They're also playing into still one of their favorite weapons, as they still have the rocket lance to be able to utilize. But in difference to that, whenever they start trading out to separate weaponry, they actually have the pneumatic hammer, and that's going to be a ton of damage, especially close quarters. And see if they can be able to find that. And so far, it has been basically just playing hocus pocus, riding these rockets to become the next witch, and that's really going to be huge because they take Jinx first stock.
Jinx goes down, and this is the first time I've ever seen Jinx in a deficit. They almost go down 2 stocks in the air, though. I feel like Relocate almost more comfortable with this rocket lance in the pocket. Now that hammer is going to come through. Going to be able to find a little bit of damage. Goes for the weapon swap, has that rocket lance back into the pocket here. Jinx looking for an opportunity to strike onto Relocate. But wow, those air dodges, just lethal. Red Jinx like a book on that approach. Jinx trying to get a counter pick of their own, but still no luck quite yet.
Big poke game to have to deal with.
Seriously.
And as soon as you get into it, what a combination! They're both fighting from well off the right side blast zone, and both are trying to be able to run back onto map. And suddenly, stage control goes to Jinx. They're gonna have the hammer in the back pocket. They end up throwing that one away, but they finally clear this out. But there's been so much bonus damage, and Relocate's got to be feeling good.
Yeah, Relocate really in a good position. They get so much of that extra credit damage here. And I don't know, it's just Jinx is so dominant in terms of stage presence. Like, that's the exact playstyle they want to have, that I'm really surprised on how much they like to rely on the aerial gameplay, because they really seem to shine in that center stage, on that ledge guard. But Relocate here, especially on this Orion, just has been owning the airspace. Oh, a risky throw there.
But the game plan that we've actually changed away from, both of these players were playing off of their rocket lances, and now they moved over between a battle of the spear versus a battle of the hammer. And hammers often make spears. Spears, I don't know if they can get through them, but they're also turning this into a juggle act as, they switch things right back around. And that lance, we've seen the poke game before, and you're gonna see it again.
Hammers usually make spears with such a nonchalant bar. That was crazy. Oh my goodness. Now it's going to be Orion still in the lead here, so Relocate trying to put Jinx into a loss, but wow, just as quickly as that lead had been gained, it is lost as Jinx has tied us up 1-1. Last stock scenario here, just like game number 1 that Jinx was able to win, but at that time had quite the dominant lead.
Can't get a weapon to save their life until this moment, and yeah, this is not at all a done and dusted deal. Both going for the full charge. They're going to go back onto main stage, and as they kind of use a little bit of that outside wall, you get to see a quick combination, something that we've not actually seen in perpetuity. Feels like they've been honestly kind of chasing after one another.
The back and forth chase can be lethal here.
Not allowed to get to stage.
1-to-1. Oh, Jinx has the setup.
Okay. Running right through them. They get an air dodge, but they're going to get chased down. Looking for the pneumatic hammer for the finisher. Completely weaponless. Relocate, trying to just dodge their way through. See if they get back to stage. They know where they want to go. What a way to survive.
Ooh, Relocate tries to find some damage out of the offstage here.
Nice throw. Oh, and then off they go. Tossed aside like a bag of hammers. Well, with a bag of hammers. That's going to be Jinx.
Well, with a hammer, but...
They end up taking this one. It'll be a 2-0, but, I mean, look to last week and to this one now here, Septilence. What do you feel like was the big change up for Jinx overall, shifting away from the Thea to the Scarlet? I felt like this one was a lot tougher for them to overall secure the fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is going to be a very impressive performance from Scarlet so far. Excuse me, from Jinx on the Scarlet so far. And I'm definitely impressed with what we're going to be seeing. This is a team that comes through very aggressively, very consistently, and just this player continues to make waves. I thought things were going to get a little bit shaky there, but they are able to win that in a 2-0 fashion. And then as we continue further, Jinx will have one more best of 3 thing against Ascent at some point. I don't know if it's next or if it'll be our third matchup, but regardless, I'm curious if Jinx can continue to go undefeated.
Yeah, that feels like they've, they are starting to get tested as some of these players are sitting in situations that they feel comfortable. That actually is going to be the first loss, I believe, for West Craven. Yes, so they will go to 2-1 from that one, as they actually were 2-0 themselves. So into this next matchup, who's actually next in our rotation? Who's second up, I believe?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll get to find out one way or another. They're here. They're there. But either way, the one player that we have not seen yet is Ascent. So going to be seeing how Ascent wants to play into what now both these players have given away as their main 2 brawlers.
Yeah, this is going to be a very fascinating scenario, but we jump in. It's Relocate versus Ascent. Yo, the Ninja Turtles are here. My favorite characters possibly of all time. I absolutely love them. We're going to be seeing Leonardo come out early here. I'm excited to see how this goes. I hope this can work well. Also, Relocate moving on to Artemis.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. All right. So if you guys don't know, Leonardo likes his swords. All right. If you ain't a TMNT fan, I don't know you. You're not my fan. You're not my friend. But he also likes scythes. So we'll see how that works out. I've never seen Leonardo with a scythe.
Yeah, I'm also, it's fine. It is what it is. It's going to be Ascent here coming in through and through. Relocate goes in for an opportunity of their own. Double scythe on either side. But Relocate, this is fascinating. So, man, I'd love to get your take on this. Relocate just played. Was it a loss? Yes, but they should be pretty warmed up, right? Or do you think they're going to be a little bit disheartened after losing that first match?
I feel like that one ultimately came close, and they did have an early lead, especially when they got that first stock off of Jinx, but they know that it was playing very close. They've got to feel confident about the fact that they were able to improve from the first game into this game. So far, though, stage control absolutely being dominated by Ascent, but that's not without Relocate able to switch things up.
Ooh, Ascent already with a great lineup here of just stage control overall, constantly forcing Relocate to play below stage level, play into the blast zone area, and taking just a very mild bit of a lead. Now, of course, 3 stocks on both sides here, so it's not a huge lead, but I do feel like Ascent may be able to find a stock soon.
So far, oh, well, there they go. Okay.
Oh, I jinxed them.
No, you relocated them. Maybe.
I get it.
Well, that's going to be Ascent that they descend downwards, and they actually go and meet. I did not realize that they actually had a Steven Universe in this, so shout out. But they go and meet one of the diamonds down below, and Ascent, as they find themselves kind of finally switching over from the scythe over into the katana. Relocate,
the lightsaber.
Yeah, it's a lightsaber.
So notoriously Ninja Turtles related. Yeah. Leonardo using all of his iconic weapons, the scythe and the lightsaber.
He's got no weapons right now, and he's actually being kind of fended off, and that's going to be a nice pickup as they end up tossing the rocket lance away and using this scythe to full effect. Finally, something is picked up, trying to go full Jedi on him.
Relocate is going to be able to find some action here.
Woo. Big damage. They want to start kind of working their way right side map. There's a ton that's actually on to Ascent. feels like the confidence factor that Ascent was trying to basically work their way into early game here at Septilence has completely faded as Relocate feels like they're right back in that prime that they were facing off against Jinx with. Chase trying to get through. They end up having some moments where they just kind of end up dropping out. As this one, oh, what a hit. That's going to be a second stock confirmation. So as we go through with this one, they're going to see a quick weapon toss. Can they continue to find Ascent unable to get something in their hands? No. They eventually grab that scythe, and that's actually where they were the most powerful before. But when Relocate actually gets these landed target shots with this rocket, it is so lethal. Lots of damage. Relocate struggling to get back to stage. They had to toss away the rocket lance, and that's going to be a full combo. We are at final stock between these two. This Artemis pick has allowed them a little bit of versatility. Feels a little bit like it was an Orion all along, but Ascent has now been switching up the gameplay as they're bringing that scythe straight to the neck.
I mean, Valorant was very close, Marvel Rivals is very close, and now just Brawlhalla's team is incredibly close. We've got a day of close matchups quite clearly. Oh, this one might end up in favor of either player. Still, Relocate has had the opportunity to strike so many times, but just not able to find that kill confirm when they need to. Ascent looks for a strike of their own, goes for the dash forward, not able to find it, gets back onto the stage. Relocate just barely misses that up aerial, finds one of their own though. Yeah, misses it again. A great air dodge from Ascent, just playing that slippery play style.
So tough to be able to get a handle on Ascent. And now as he actually comes off stage, this is starting to look a lot more dire here for Relocate. Remember, they've already lost 2 fights before. The first one was not as close as the second, and this one is now coming down to the wire. Both these players are really within that last confirms of that third stock. They catch him from behind as they switch back to the Starry Scythe. Can they be able to catch him out? Ascent has work to do as they toss their weapon away. They don't have any extra options. Going for a Meteor Smash, and they gave away their spots. Oh man, Hubris ends up being the fall for Relocate as they come up huge on the TMNT. Oh my gosh, that's huge.
I mean, a close one, but Relocate in just the last 5 to 10 seconds of the match makes all the difference at the end of the day. It was close, but unfortunately no cigar at a time like that. Now, luckily, there is one more opportunity for Relocate to try and put a win on the board here tonight, because when you get that close, it feels very, very likely. And I'm curious if Relocate is going to bring a 4th champion to the table, or if they're going to go back to one of the ones we've seen already.
I would see them going back to Orion, because
I agree.
It depends on what stance they're actually taking with some of this, because it felt like they went, all right, going to play a little bit more of a mid-ground game, and all right, cool. So Orion is back on. There's no reason for Ascent to change otherwise. I know that I know flexing your pool is cool, but sticking with the one that worked, I felt like they had so much good mid-stage control.
I agree.
Didn't really allow this to kind of have elongated success here for Relocate.
I agree with you very much. I think there's a lot of opportunity here for Relocate on the Orion. I do think having a hero pool that's diverse is important, but I also think you need to know at least, we'll say 2 to 3 characters very, very well. You need to have those auto locks, those mains, if you will. So Orion, maybe just trying to figure out who exactly that is for them. Or excuse me, not Orion. Relocate, trying to figure out who that could possibly be for them.
You're also seeing, because of the Orion, they have a lot, kind of a heftier of a build, but they're also going to be going for some of the longer weapons, but for both the Spear and the Rocket Lance to be brought into this matchup. That's kind of what the distance of poke play that they want to be able to bring. They didn't really resonate well with the Scythe, and I feel like that really hamstrung them into how they ultimately want to find this. So as they dominate kind of this much narrower stage, they toss a Spear, they have at least this edge control, and they want to force Ascent to have to go through them if they want to get hands on a whip.
Gotta try to get a weapon in hand at a time like this. It could be critical, but Orion is able to find that first strike. Relocate, getting a much earlier lead here in game number 2 than we saw back in that first matchup. Let's see if they're going to be able to really run this down. I think this is a player with their back against the wall. It's a true fight or flight moment, and they're looking to strike. They want to be a penguin, a flightless bird. They want to fight until the bitter end, and my goodness, what a combo! A true 0 to death against this Leonardo Ascent taken down to the depths by Relocate, who is unlocking their 6th chakra at this time.
That was insane. Took him by the hand and guided him out of the theme park, threw him in the van and said, you ain't getting found by anyone. But now Relocate all the way in that bottom blast zone, gonna have that full charge. They might be able to do it again. Oh, Ascent able to recover just enough. It's a slippery slope and they're sliding on down. Relocate still holding on to 3 full stocks.
Sliding like you would not believe. Ascent maybe losing our fastest possible matchup that we've seen so far this season, but the timer is not over yet. And this would force us, of course, to the 3rd game of this best of 3. Ascent, we're going to need a big turnaround from them to try and win this. They almost get spiked into the fathoms below, but they do stay up and running. Relocate's very close to losing this first stock, but Ascent running out of time on their 3rd.
They have the rocket blast as well online to be able to just get so much extra damage. Finally, it took all of one up air to be able to get that one down. So you go through your first stock. Relocate knows that they can kind of dance their way successfully, and they're gonna actually short hop towards their next weapon. It's gonna be into the spear, so not as maneuverability as being able to kind of survive from off of what basically you jet around from your rocket lance, but I feel like this is actually favorable for Ascent. They knew how to be able to win kind of that close range battle whenever they were taking on the spear out of Relocate.
I don't disagree. I think the close range battle has worked really well for Ascent thus far, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do into this matchup here. But my goodness, the first 2 stocks taken in 30 seconds, now another one not found until 2 minutes later.
All right. We're going to game number 3 of our 2nd set. Remember, if you guys don't know how this works, we have 3 amazing players. We've got them going 1v1 against each other, and they get to rotate all the way through round robin style with one another. So Jinx
they all get to play the other 2, yeah.
Yeah. So Jinx is actually kind of getting some big notes from this.
Do
you think that that Ascent is actually, that's why they might be limiting themselves to Leonardo? Or is this simply a main pick and the one that you want to keep fighting on?
With the way Ascent is playing, it does give main to me. It does give, this is the character I want to be playing. You see a lot of the potential combos coming out, a lot of the splinter maneuverability with the edge guarding and the up air and whatnot, and I think there could be more in the pocket. This could just be a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. Who knows? Maybe this is just someone who really likes them, but I think I will be surprised if we see something other than Leonardo. I don't think it's impossible, but with just the play style we're getting, it kind of screams, this is what I'm locking in.
And if you are looking at Relocate, I don't think you move away from Orion. Don't go to your Aang. I feel like that just was kind of a experiment, a test, and it ended up not doing so well into Jinx. If you're looking at it for a consistency factor and you want to go 1-1 today, play back into your Orion. Now, thinking on that note in particular, that actually may give some difference of how Ascent might want to change if he has a second main that he wants to play against. It's not like he wasn't finding value, but that rocket lance was just bullying throughout the majority of that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really strong performance from that rocket lance. And oh my goodness, Macho Man Randy Savage coming out from Relocate here versus Jiro on Ascent. A very cool Jiro skin as well. I've never seen that one. That is a fascinating costume, but regardless, I'm excited. I have not seen either of these characters be played yet.
So Macho Man, he has a lot more, basically it takes a lot longer to be able to get damage onto. So Relocate, again, kind of playing much more into his, kind of his defense pool, I guess it would be. But opposite of that, Ascent still likes Ye Yonder lightsaber.
Honestly, based. The lightsaber is pretty cool. We got the battle axe on the opposing side here. Relocate gets a little bit of damage in early, but both of them, check it out. A lot of respect for one another because they know losing this is obviously going to impact their record. Now, if Ascent loses this, it will be their first on the books loss in this scenario. So they want to try to make this happen. Now, Relocate losing this, they'd go fully negative today, not able to win a series, but Ascent wants to keep that perfect 0 in that loss column. Now, that'll be even scarier if they win this one. They have to go up against Jinx, who I have not seen lose a series yet.
And you have a very kind of a similar weapon pool that comes out from Macho Man. He actually does have the axe skin with the Macho King. But it's the rocket skin that's really been how he wants to find some moments. It's a lot of defense, a lot of maneuverability. You do get caught by Ascent on the Jiro, who is actually working off not just a sword skin, but as well as a scythe. So it's pretty much the exact same thing as a Leonardo, but there's a lot more, I want to say, maneuverability overall for just getting some high damage out. So it's basically the spear spear versus the shield, but just it's a shield in the form of a lightsaber.
Yeah, but conceptually, the points
Yeah.
stand all the same. Relocate has that spear, though, trying to take it right through Ascent's shield and send them into the blast zone. Take that first stock offline, already over a minute off the clock. So Relocate looking to get that stock up and missing. Oh, I thought Ascent was going to get stuck underneath this stage for a second. Oh my goodness, my heart stopped. The battle axe toss into the offstage, into the spike plant here on the left side, but Ascent makes it up and over with that air dodge into the up left attack. Ascent barely able to stay standing.
It's going to be one little poke for both these guys, actually, and it should be over. Not able to do it. They're going to recover and get the scythe, and now they send them to the moon and back all the way to Skull Island back there, and then they come back down. Quick juggling of a lot of spears, and now as they start to get this one all pile dried up, even without a weapon in hand, quick combination is going to find some separation, and then we find Elation as we go right back to a lightsaber, and what a throw!
What a throw coming indeed here. Oh, I'm really trying to like put my little fighting game brain to work here and figure out how I think Ascent can box their way out of this, but it's really becoming increasingly difficult. It feels like, oh, maybe that's how. Never mind, I'm back.
You know what? Sometimes it just takes recognizing that even with the spacing that he's having to get used to what the rocket lance does, because it allows that quick boost for so much space to be recovered so quickly. But as they minimize any of that, it becomes the axe versus the sword. Pretty much same, except a little bit of extra damage out of the axe overall for Relocate, but they have moved right back to their premium and optimal weapon.
Optimal weapon in the pocket here. Relocate, trying to find an opportunity to strike. Ascent sends out that shadow form, not gonna be able to pick up much with Zero. What a read! Almost has the combo. You can tell that is so ingrained in Relocate. That is a memorization if I've ever seen one. Unfortunately, Ascent is gonna be able to air dodge out of it that time. Oh, two stocks alive on both sides. Brings this chain scythe to the table. A great back throw onto Relocate. Tries to look for an angle of their own back on a stage.
Is he Joey Wheeler? Because I swear the kunai with chain is absolutely getting slapped on the table. Relocate, gonna take over stage control as they force Ascent to have to ascend back onto that corner. And so as they edge guard just a little bit, is just not working out. Both these players up in that high damage threshold with 2 stocks remaining. Relocate, dodging through in a way. They're gonna get an uppercut. They're gonna get a fresh weapon. No, the scythe and the quick clover placement. Now it's down to final stock for Relocate.
Relocate. Oh, all right. Well, at the very least, ties us up in a very strong opener there. Going to be able to put it 1-1 now on the board. Can Relocate find the action they need to put this match under their belt in a positive manner? Or are they, unfortunately, going to get sent packing 0-2 on the day?
Love the sweep that we're getting out of the Rocket Lance. Seeing what they can do to be able to just kind of force Ascent to kind of chase them. They're going for a lot of these juggles, but when you have all those extra shadow clones, it is so tough to deal with so much of that space. They're going point and click directly on the tip. They have great combinations if they can just get them on the tip of the spear, but the damage threshold is starting to go the way of Ascent. Depends on how some of these connect. That's exactly what you got to do if you're Relocate. Starting to get into scary times, especially as we go off stage, and they went for the all-in play off of that weapon throw.
That's exactly how Relocate loves to play this game, though. We love to see that aggression come out in terms of just trying to go for that full 0 to death, full confirmed kill, and unfortunately just not able to find it all the time. So could they find it now, though? I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous.
Ascent knows they want to be able to keep themselves undefeated. Even if it takes through a game number 3, they end up picking up their trusty sword. Lightsaber in hand, final hit. Might be able to do it. Relocate has them where they want them, and they're going to meteor strike them down. What a slam dunk. The gavel has been brought to court. Everyone has been brought to attention. People are getting losses today. Undefeated records, no more for both players.
Relocate lost their undefeated record and said, you know what, fine, but I'm not going down alone. Goes in, takes Ascent down in a beautiful Game 3 victory on Macho Man Randy Savage. I really thought they started that strong. I was getting a little bit worried things were going to fall bleak against them toward the end there, but clearly dedication pays off, and they are able to win their second matchup of the day. Now, Jinx and Ascent go into their second matchup of the day, and only one of them can emerge victorious. I think it could go either way, but at this point, I'm starting to become a fan. I've seen them so often. I think I'm giving it to Jinx early here, especially if they bring that Thea back to the table.
That Thea was very, very strong. I feel like who would they switch to? It wasn't Artemis. It was
No, it was. I always forget her name.
Crud. Either way, that switchback didn't feel as comfortable as previous, and maybe if Jinx is feeling kind of frisky, they might experiment with another big pick. But either way, they obviously know the kind of the weapons. Scarlet, that's what it was. Yeah, not as strong. Definitely not as strong. They went for literally a full balance stance character, so that one was kind of not exactly what you wanted, but they're trying to just basically have all their options open. They know what Ascent wants to play. They're going to play off the scythe, they're going to play off a sword, and they feels like they're going to play to a high damage glass cannon.
Yep.
That's going to be punished if they're not ready for what Jinx puts out.
It should be punished, I think. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of scenario here. You play that up close. You play that kind of consistent play style. Jinx is a player that adapts on the fly, that is able to improvise and perform an insanely high level of success. And yep, Thea out early versus Fate. So Ascent's going to be swapping things up as well.
No, that's not a bad call. See how this one kind of works out to change everything up. Again, they just prioritizing high damage. They can kind of soak in some of that overall, especially from what's output. It feels like this. It's always an all-in. You're gonna get on the Fate. You're gonna also see another scythe, but they're gonna that orb could be a kind of a game changer, as well as we finally have a platform map.
Yeah, the tri-platform map we've not seen any of yet tonight, so I'm excited to be getting back into the mix on that, as they do really change the game quite a bit. You probably asking Septimus, just one platform will really make a big difference, and I think you'd be flabbergasted at how much it can, because it allows players to get up close and personal, to get higher into the heavens of the map, to get a little more combo-y in the air without having to use air dodges more often. There's a lot of very small, almost nuances to it. There's a lot of abilities to improve, and I've never seen Fate played before, but I like her whole vibe. I like her aesthetic a lot.
Yeah, I know. Especially using the orb, it feels like you have a lot more overall kind of stage like distance play. But Jinx also they know how to utilize that rocket. So it's about what Ascent can do to kind of make them learn that this is not going to be as easy as it seems. And they actually went to a game 3, and they're willing to give Jinx their first loss as well. But we switched things right back around. Guess what? It's Ascent with their scythe.
It would be kind of a hilarious pattern, though, if everybody lost and then took it out on the next person. Like, there would be a pretty good through line there on tonight's performance, but we're just going to have to wait and see if these players are able to live up to that expectation.
You have a lot of dexterity on Thea. Not as much damage output as what, basically Ascent has on this Fate. So you do have a lot more speed to have to deal with. Big throw. They're just trying to conk them out. Gonna go for a separate weapon as they finally get onto the boots. So what can they get from these battle boots? Oh, well, apparently it's big combos, and we saw those boots go stepping onto Relocate's corpse several times. Not surprised to see them finally confirm that first stock.
Yeah, those boots are lethal. Quite literally a great performance with them, and a beautiful consistency with them thus far as well. You've got to wonder if that is going to be kind of the through line of Jinx, is the reliance of those boots to continuously find their way back to comfortability. Jinx loves to play up close. We know that very clearly from the playstyle they've presented thus far, but let's see if they're going to be able to pay off here. As I've got to be honest, Ascent is keeping it very close, but Jinx did not like my opinion about that and said, hey, Septimus, watch this. Takes Kate down once again a notch and really puts themselves in a likely position for this victory in matchup number 3.
Battle boots go kicking, they go running, and they go absolutely terrifying Ascent. And again, it's just been fantastic reads. They have been sweeping the stage left and right, not allowing them to exist. Oh, 0 to death, trying to get them all the way off stage, but actually a turncoat moment, and they cannot recover.
That was a very scary circumstance. Jinx almost had a deathless victory once again, but it is going to be, like you said, a beautiful, unexpected turnaround from Ascent in that moment to find that victory, put that stock off the board, but they still have a big task ahead of them.
Got a lot of just damage that you gotta find some level of output for. I would say maybe stick it into the to the scythe. Don't try to change it out, but they've also found that kind of medium to long distance from off of the orb now as you go again back into that combo level for the battle boots. Oh my goodness, that might be able to do it considering they're full red bar and final stock. It is going to take a miracle and some change to get it done here in game number 1. Jinx biding their time. A few extra taps from behind, see if they can be able to get a nair or two. Good quick combo, and that at least is able to toss him upwards.
Keeps you on the board for at least a minute here. Now it's going to be a little bit harder, like you said, to continue turning this around. In the red bar already, Jinx has an entire stock advantage. It's going to make it really difficult to find yourself victorious in this scenario, and they're just not going to be able to. Jinx able to win that first matchup between Jinx and Ascent. Only one to go, and they will remain our only player who entered today undefeated.
Can Jinx continue to just win? And we got to see if Ascent has the gut check and the resiliency to make it into this next big fight and find themselves at least in the winners column and then force a game number 3. That is a tough thing to do. Obviously, they already went to game 3 after they were facing off against Relocate. Relocate has got to be feeling pretty good. Not only that they had a tough second fight against Jinx, but they were able to kind of bounce back. Ascent got to find the same.
Yeah, Ascent gonna have to try and make this happen here. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to find a lot of success here. Only 1 victory over 3 losses now, so it's a little bit difficult. But luckily, every game is a GG go next. You get to jump right back in, and once again, swapping to a character with a very cool aesthetic, might I say.
Okay, all right. So we got Ascent on the Nyx. So we'll see how that one overall plays out for them, because Nyx bringing to the table a little bit more durability, a lot more damage soaking, a lot less when it comes to just trying out all that dexterity. You'll still have a scythe, but the blasters will finally be brought out as well. But they start things off at least with their primary melee weapon.
And we had a couple of blaster matchups last week against Jinx, and that was actually when I think they did their best. And I don't say that as a point of contention to Ascent's performance, but we saw some seriously dominant performances when blasters were on the table. So I think it's a weapon that Jinx is very familiar with playing against and may actually be excited to do so once again.
Love the shadow grip. Basically saying that medium distance, they're gonna be able to at least relocate them. Haha. Ascent underneath the stage. You got those 2 off-even platforms to really kind of work around if they can. Doesn't seem like they're gonna be trading over to the blasters. Maybe they saw the tape last week and know not to go to that weapon. And so far, Jinx is on the ropes, but it looks like they're working their way back.
Yeah, Jinx on the ropes with plenty of time left to respond just like that. A beautiful opener from Jinx there, as that first stock is already offline. A tough starter, but luckily the game, we're so early into it that I don't think it's going to sign the death warrant yet for Ascent.
It's always so nice and so clean to see kind of just a meteor strike, send someone straight down and haven't forced them to go up. But okay, Jinx, I don't think that they were able to DI back down and do so in time. And obviously, you see the platforms just slowly drift off even. Kind of changes up your game plan if you're trying to work from either side of the stage.
That's very true. There's a lot of fighting games where the stages will change just ever so slightly like this, but it definitely changes a lot of plans, because if that platform isn't as close to the blast zone as it was a minute ago, it's a little bit harder for you to get insert kill confirm here. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of nuance to playing these games, more so than I think a lot of people recognize just as a viewer or a supporter. You've really got to be acting and thinking 100 steps ahead of your opponent, while also not forgetting your own play style and what your goals would like to be at a time like this.
Oh my gosh, the chase down off of the rocket lance. They threw it first and they went after it, but now you're gonna have the blasters that they are really good at juggling. If you're able to get at least some of that extra damage, they actually shoot to the floor, trying to pre-read Jinx dropping down the stage. Ascent struggling, but they, you know, kind of pseudo uppercut, forcing Jinx to get poked in the face. Still the damage meter slightly in favor of Ascent as they've traded places and spaces.
No
Jinx,
way you live this.
Full boost and they come back up, maybe?
Oh man, okay, I got a little bit nervous. I sometimes forget how floaty these characters can really be, so when they get that deep into the blast zone, it's a bit frightening. Now, Jinx down for the first time in a long time in a deficit. Can Ascent find the opportunity to turn this around and take us to another game 3? Jinx just about ready to tie this up, though. Ooh, Ascent getting tired in the aerials there. Jinx, a beautiful combo into the blast zone, ties us up 1-1. One stock away from another undefeated week here at VESL.
Trying to run it down, keep themselves absolutely perfect. It's a difficult thing to do in any video game. Brawlhalla much the same, but those boots again right back into the battle as Jinx continues to upend Ascent. Ascent hasn't landed a couple of touches until now, and those blasters have actually been their bread and butter for getting them up into those juggling moments here, Septilence.
The juggling moments have been so critical for Jinx's playstyle, excuse me, and they're looking for an opportunity now, but the blasters come out. Jinx is gonna be caught off by them. Goes for that ledge guard. Blasters get the door opening into that downward shot. Ooh, I hate when they fall that low. And that's exactly why. Because sometimes you just can't get back up. A close matchup turns into a very dominant one for Jinx with a beautifully quick third stock cleanup. That is once again Jinx going undefeated, now 4-0 here at VESL.
That is so tough. Look at the damage difference. You had all
Yup.
of 40 damage diff, and that was actually by Ascent on this Nyx. It felt like that they were in such a strong position. A couple of times where it was just a little unwise of how they went down from off of that left side of the stage. So, you know, that's something to be able to build upon. A couple of tough losses, though, as they lost in that game 3 against Relocate, who went 1-1 between his two, and then Jinx, who comes up 2-0. So, congrats to everyone, but also
we got all 3 options.
Yeah, look, we got a 2-0, a 1-2, and an 0-2. So a lot of things were happening 1.
A lot of strong performances regardless. I mean, just across every game we've seen today. The Valorant into the Marvel Rivals, even into the drone rivalries that we saw and that we'll see more of next week. All these players did very well. But because we went into so many late matchups, it is getting pretty late tonight. So I think we're getting ready to wrap things up in just a couple of minutes here. Before we do so, though, Hail Monkey Man, anything else we'd like to say?
Honestly, got to see some fantastic work. I feel like, you know, sometimes you have those lopsided matches, and that can be the beginning of the season. But clearly these students, not just in esports, but as well as STEM, are really throwing their all into the books, onto the sticks, and giving us the things that we expect out of players that are bringing it to VESL. And so far, no disappointments from me, from you, from anyone else as well. And hey, shout out over to our awesome dude and Mark, our producer, and all the peeps that were able to make things work. We also have Proper that was able to give some observing. A lot of great work goes into this, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy all of it, Setulence. It's great to be able to see you again this week, man.
Always a pleasure to have you here with me, man. And we are going to be coming back next week. I will be here with Time to Light, but Hail Monkey Man will be back the week after that. Regardless, we'll see all of you back here in a week for VESL week number 3. Thank you all so much for watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other, and we'll see you guys next week.